What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. And today we have obviously the last day of breakout trading, as tomorrow obviously is a holiday with Good Friday. The markets are closed. Pleased to have you with us. We already have a couple of early birds in the chat. We got the toilet brush. Chase Bands, hello to you as well. Martin Lawrence. Oh, Martin Lawrence. Okay.
Oh.
Darwin, we got Papa Powell in the chat. Close that door, baby. We got Charon J. Thank you very much for that super chat. Chase Bands right off the bat. Happy life, happy life. Mara, you go, girl. I always talk to BPI about Mara, and he's saying all sorts of stuff about her. Some good, some bad, by the way. We got Atif Tibet. I love that name. Andrew Chow. We got Kanye East, Eddie R, Pitchbull, Rational Analysis. You rock, sir. We got Arsenal Adam, baby. Aaron and Joanna Brewster, Monty G, Callum, Mitchell Miller, DT Dev 17, James Dell, what's up to you, sir? We got Big Kyle Burdett, what's up, my man? We got Terrence Black, Miss Sebastian, and John H. All tank as well. I like that. All tank. You must be a hefty, tank-looking dude. Good morning, Adair.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Nice.
You know, we've been doing our thing here, 21, with some NVDL, some TQQs. We'll be talking more about that as the show goes on. We're talking about understanding continuation breakouts. I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm still long right now the TQQs, as you can see. It's been a range trade for me as we've been doing the dance here with the NQ June contract right above 18.5, and that's precipitated me to play the range. It's kind of like an Adara Panera trade today. You know, she does it a lot better than me, but you know, we'll dabble in it when we can. And it's been multiple entries, multiple exits on the TQQs. Happy with the trading day, but it can get a little bit better. Hopefully, there'll be more opportunities that present themselves as the show goes on, guys. But let's get right to the crux of the matter. We're talking about understanding continuation breakouts today. We've been talking about breakout trades all week. So today we're going to be talking about how to keep that momentum going, baby, that continuation breakout. So imagine driving down a highway. Sometimes you hit a rest stop and catch your breath, but then you get right back on that road, continuing on your journey. That's similar to continuation breakouts in trading. So let's talk a little bit about it. And first, let's define, this is something, I had to put this on here, because the OB, the one, the Canob says this often, right? The trend is your friend. Sometimes he whispers it to himself. You know, sometimes he'll say it aloud. One of his many sayings, shout out to OB, killing it on the morning show. But for real though, the trend is your friend, bracket sometimes. That's the caveat here. So technical analysis relies heavily on trends, if you haven't noticed that so far, which are sustained movements in the price. But trends don't always go in a straight line, sadly, right? Sometimes the market enters a period of what we call consolidation, where the price moves sideways within a defined range, AKA an Adara Panera trade, right? This is where continuation breakouts come in sometimes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about the power of these continuation breakouts, because they're foreshadowing something here. And that's what we want to use to our advantage. So a continuation breakout occurs when the price moves decisively, or the price decisively breaks out of a consolidation pattern in the direction of the prevailing trend. Here's the breakdown. So in an upward trend, after an upward trend has happened, there's a period of consolidation. You'll remember on our week on accumulation distribution, this is typically where accumulation starts taking place, right? You get that big move up, a lot of people have eyes on it, right? And then you have that sideways period of consolidation where it doesn't seem like anything's happening. Big money's positioning at these levels, typically at the lower end of that range, right? That's why their traders are judged on how well they do on the day, based on VWAP. So that's what they're doing usually at that time. That's where the accumulation starts taking place, and that's why we get an eventual breakout. So the upward trend, after an uptrend, there's a period of consolidation. A breakout above the resistance level of this consolidation suggests that buyers are back in control, potentially leading to a continuation of the uptrend. In the downtrend, similarly, the same thing kind of happens. Following a downtrend, consolidation typically occurs where we move sideways for a while. A breakout below that support level of the consolidation area will typically indicate to sellers, or will typically indicate that sellers are regaining strength, hinting at a continuation of that downtrend. Here are great examples. I think it's Mark back there in the podcast room. So here's an example. There, you have an uptrend followed by a period of consolidation. You kind of have that double bottom, a defined lower level, a defined higher level, and then bang, you get the breakout through the top end. And that's what we're kind of talking about here. Period of uptrend or downtrend, then a sideways period of consolidation, and then a continuation in the uptrend or downtrend, whatever the trend that preceded it. Here's an example. We have a downtrend, a period of consolidation, and then you get the flat bottom break, babe. That's what we talk about right there, okay? But not every pause means a change, right? So not every consolidation area that happens subsequent to an uptrend or downtrend means that it's gonna continue in the direction of the trend. That doesn't always happen. So while continuation breakouts can be powerful signals, it's important to remember that not all consolidations lead to trend continuations. Here's how to be a more discerning trader. Again, I've mentioned this 3 times, I'm gonna mention the 4th. Look for volume confirmation, right? Look for a surge in trading volume alongside the breakout. So if it was a breakout to the high side, look for that big volume candle on your volume bar chart to coincide with the breakout. Did it happen on above average volume? Well, how do you know it's above average volume? Well, look at the preceding days if you're looking at the daily. Look at the preceding weeks if you're looking at the weekly. See what was the average volume bar size. Does the volume bar that coincided with the breakout exceed, or is it part of the average volume bars that are already with it? That's what you're looking for there. A very easy to use tool, but good for confirmation. All right. And look at the time frame. Time frame matters here, guys. A longer consolidation period means a stronger break move. So I just want to go back to this area over here. How many times did I say this yesterday? When you have the longer the consolidation period, if it takes place on the daily or weekly, the more important the top end and the bottom end of that range is. So the more credence you give to that level of resistance to the top side, the more credence you give to that level of support to the downside, okay? And again, the more touches as well at those levels, the more important that they become, all right? Just wanted to mention that real quick. I mentioned it yesterday, but I'm gonna mention it again, okay? And so here is a perfect example of volume on the breakout. So look at this one over here. So you have the eventual breakout of the level right here, and it's on above average volume. And then you get that monster continuation, which is already above the level on this candle. But it's this candle that we want to look at. And then look at this candle compared to all the others that preceded it, right? So that's what we're looking for there. A candle to coincide with the breakout that's higher on volume than its counterparts, okay? So how do we capitalize on the move? What are we doing here? How do we get in, get out? Where do we take profit? So let's talk a little bit about that. Your entry strategies. Again, because we're talking about breakout trading, you got 1 of 2 options here, in my opinion. One, you can get out, you can get in right on the breakout or breakdown, whether it's a long or a short, okay? So if it's, again, gonna go back to Apple, 200 level on Apple, you could be sitting at that $200.01 on the bid. That's up to you. Others will say, no, that's a little too risky. I could get faked out. It could be a fake out breakout above that 200. I'd rather wait for 200, for the price level to exceed 200, and then, I'll sit there, on my own time with an order sitting at, say, 201 or $200.50. So essentially what you have here are 2 schools of thought. One takes the breakout right away, and the other person waits for the pullback to come in to prove to them that that $200 level is the real deal. And then at that point, they'll punch long or short. Stop loss orders, equally as important. Always use a stop loss order to limit potential losses. For bullish breakouts, you're looking at putting your stop below the broken resistance level. For bearish Breakouts, you're looking at placing your stop above the broken support, okay? Easy enough there. Profit targets, very similar. When you're going long, you're looking for another key area of resistance above your entry price or above the current price, and you're looking at that area to see whether or not you should be taking profits at that area. Similarly, for breakdown of a breakdown trade, you're looking for that key area of support below the price where the price might bounce to take profits. All right, and here's another excellent example. Thank you, Adair, for adding these in. Right, so you have that horizontal move, right? This is the upper trend line, and you're gonna place your stop loss right below the bottom area over here, and your beak wetter will have to be based upon where the next level of resistance is. Here we can't really see it on the chart. Okay, and remember, continuation breakouts are probabilities, not guarantees. Always do your research, both technical and fundamental. Manage risk effectively and never invest more than you can afford to lose. And here's a little bit of bonus tip. Combine these continuation breakouts with other technical indicators like RSI or MACD. Again, we talked that week on about RSI and MACD, about indicators, about looking for divergence between price action and the indicator itself, okay? So keep your eye on that, and that's really it for breakout trading, Adara.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that there lesson du jour. We will be repeating it a couple times in case anybody comes in late. Yeah, honestly, I got into a couple bamboozling trades here. I got involved in this Tesla long. Initially, we held this area really well. We're falling below. As long as we stay above this area here, was 90 area, which I like because of that doji candle. I'm gonna say it, and honestly, I should probably be reloading here, but I really wanna see Tesla have a little bit more oomph, a little bit more, you know, spring in its step before I decide to add to this position that's already a skosh waffly. So that one I got involved in the 5 minute. This Microsoft, though, I got involved in on the 1 minute, because I liked what I saw on the 1 minute chart here. And that is this little baby range that we had here, right? So we had these little kind of 30-cent ranges. We did fall out of this a little bit as I got in, unfortunately. And we are having a bit of trouble with that 9 EMA. So I want to see us really break above that 9 EMA. If we can't, I'll take like a 10-cent loss on this because I don't want to take more of a loss. The initial goal was just kind of see what we did at VWAP. We held really well at VWAP. I just wanted to push that 9 EMA aside and say, hey, you are not in my way. I am my own maker. Yes, I want the stock to talk. But yes, we'll have to see here. I see, though, you were also in a Tesla long.
Yeah, that was a dip trade, and it may not manifest the way that I want, so I'm going to keep this one on a tight leash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not ready to.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so this is my. I honestly, I'm gonna get out of this Tesla because my area of entrance was like you had a much better entry point than I did. I got involved a little bit too aggressively, so I'm gonna try to get out of this if I am allowed to exit La Cybertruck. So yeah, Tesla, let me out, please. And then Microsoft we're still holding up at VWAP. I have no words. But Kyle, thank you so much for mentioning Amazon and Starbucks. Let's take a look at these ones here. We're out of Tesla. So Amazon here. Oh, this is a nice. Okay, I really like this on Amazon, Kyle. Thank you so much. Shout out to Kyle as well yesterday. You know, giving me some advice and feedback on Amazon. And also, you know, too, I remember Kyle earlier this week as well was saying in the chat, like, you know, pay attention to what Sean does when Sean enters these shorts. And Sean said something to that effect earlier today with Obi, saying that, you know, those TQQ shorts he was getting involved in, it was because he was seeing something with that aggression, with that viciousness, I guess, to use a word I use sometimes, that, you know, was the impetus for getting involved. So that's the type of stuff I'm trying to pay more attention to. And so I just really always appreciate being able to learn from everyone here. This Amazon, though, very much lower highs here. I love this topping tail candle. We tried to break into that earlier area of resistance at 180, 120, shut down to the downside. So I think we're having a really hard time getting above this area. I'm going to watch and see what we do here. If this might be a dip. Instead of like a dip buy, it might be a rip short, a rip sell into 181. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this. I want to watch how it moves a little bit longer. The other one, Kyle was mentioning here, SPCE. So let's see if we're actually at some Starbucks this morning. I had some matcha this morning, so good times. This look, I failed.
That wasn't me.
Okay.
That was Ram. Oh, that was a Chilean nightmare.
But yeah, this one, we have lower highs. This I feel like is a really clear look too, because with Amazon, you did have that VWAP around that previous pre-market area of resistance, right? So there was still a little bit of confluence here, but to me, this Starbucks is like, this is a really nice setup of, at the pre-market low or the pre-market chop and churn area, we have these lower highs with that flat bottom. So this is a nice look, and actually I think I am going to step into this. The spread also is great, I have to say. As someone who occasionally wrangles Eli Lilly around, that's got like a 40-cent spread at a good day, I can do a 1 cent spread, so we're going to try to get involved in this around 70s. So let's do 69s, because as Sharif sometimes says when punching in at this level, what's life without whimsy? Yeah. If we break above the 75 area, I'm out. Also, Microsoft is doing nothing. So I'm going to have to assess that position as well. How are you doing over here?
Good. Took some profits on BDRX, nice. Small cap gapper du jour. Tesla, though, not looking good. So there I'm out. So I had to draw my line below the break of 176.80, guys. Chart. The idea here was, guys, chart. The idea here was to take that 177 defend. There was a consolidation area here that I liked earlier, but yeah, Tesla, bamboozle central, wow, went right back up. That's okay. There's no big deal. Let's see exactly what we're doing on BDRX. Right back into my entry. I'm looking to defend that $1.70 level. Let me show you exactly what I'm looking at here on BDRX. So this one was awfully strong to start the day. It kind of started its life in penny stock territory, 86 pennies there or thereabouts. $2 HOD breaks down below the volume weighted average price. So didn't really respect VWAP on this occasion. And I don't really feel like it respected VWAP a whole lot earlier either, to be quite honest with you, as it was making its way up. It was really hard to tell what it was respecting, but the point is it bounced off $1.50, so there was definitely a buyer around there. Brings us above the volume weighted average price. This one didn't really have all those kind of things that we look for on a small cap gapper, you know, a definable pre-market high, trading above the pre-market high, et cetera, et cetera. This one kind of just marched to the beat of its own drum, started moving at 8.15, and then you can't even really tell the difference between the price action between before or after the bell. So we'll wait and see if this one can hold up above $1.70. I have a dip trade hanging out at that $1.70 area. We'll see if we get filled, and if we do, whether it holds up or not, because I'll just cut it if it doesn't. So we'll look to see exactly what BDRX does on the day. I had some other small cap gappers. AVTX, we'll talk about that. I mean, everyone's been talking about AVTX. This thing's a monster, about 400%, 391% coming to the volume weighted average price. This could be an interesting area here. So now we know the first candle respected VWAP, the second candle sort of respecting it. So this could be an interesting area here for our AVTX trade. But whoa, BDRX is tanking, and I got to get out of that. So that's a lot of trouble. So that I end up giving back everything that I made on BDRX there. So yeah, that's how it kind of works. If you don't have stops and you're talking on the show, it's gonna do that against you, these small gappers. But that's all right. Well, I'm gonna look now for AVTX, as this one is holding the volume weighted average price quite nicely. We'll see what we get on this one.
Yeah, no, those small caps have been like very all over the place today. Like there's been like some, a lot of that had some nice momentum and then just kind of petered out. Sorry, yeah, it's been an interesting mixed look. Right now, I am looking at something that also can go much like a small cap from bang to bust in 2 seconds, Nvidia. I like, though, I've been trading lately, I want to say as well, I've been trading Nvidia pretty much exclusively off the 90 EMA because to me, or sorry, not the 90 EMA, the 1 minute chart. I'm obsessed with the 90 EMA, but that's a whole other story. I like the 1 minute chart when I'm going to trade Nvidia because if I'm going to scalp it, I want to look purely at levels of what we're doing right the heck now. Do you know what I mean? I want to see this previous candle. Did we have any wicks down or wicks up to suggest potential direction? That's the type of stuff I want to see. Right now, the target is to go long off this 90 EMA, which is, I think, why my brain had 90 EMA on it. I like that 908.30 area. I don't know if we're going to get it again, so I don't want to, have a dip buy that accidentally gets filled, and I'm like, because it's Nvidia. That is not the vibe. That gets you lost in the sauce real fast. Shout out to Obi there with lost in the sauce, but I do want to be cognizant of this. I think there are some dip buy opportunities here, though, for Nvidia, and I like this subtle little dollar range that you get in the uptrend if you're looking at the 1 minute. Also, SBucks. We got like $1, or not $1. We got a cent away from being filled here. I was looking for 91.54. So this I need to go back to the 5 minute for. This 91.54s was the goal here. We got to 91.55s. I'm staying in this though, unless we have that decisive break above VWAP and into that higher high, 91.75. So pretty tight risk reward here. Happy with this one for right now. And again, shout out again to Kyle for pointing this one out, much appreciated. But I don't mind this look at all for Starbucks. Let's see if we can sip some of those profits. Instead of pleased as punch, I am pleased as a peach refresher or a caramel macchiato or insert Starbucks drink here. So we're gonna, happy with this right now. I'm gonna probably start playing that Nvidia range in a moment, but I saw a little tiny fist pump. So do you have some profits to talk about?
AVTX. That we just had to act quickly on that because it was on the volume weighted average price. I didn't know how long it was going to hang out here. We'll see if this one holds up. I already took the bulk out of that. That's a nice 40 penny winner right there as it broke 24, but now coming back below my entry. So it's going to have to hold up above the $0.50 on the ask. Otherwise, we'll cut it and then we'll look to get in at a better price. I'm thinking maybe exactly 23. That looks like to be, whoa, hold on. Where's the volume weighted average price? 22.87 or so now it's coming down here. If the bid, or if the ask, breaks down below 50, I'm gonna have to cut it. But there we go, right back up into that general 24 area. The spread on this name is not great, okay? Again, you're gonna have to kind of take the good with the bad here. The good is it's up 400%. The bad is it's awfully spready, right? So right back in, now the spread tightening up a little bit. Right back into that 24 area and above 24 we go. All right, AVTX. If we can hold above 24, that would just be aces, but we're having trouble with the whole dollar level, so we'll keep eyes on this one. Doing well on this name. Just made up for all that I lost on BDRX here, so I was kind of happy about that. With this name. All right, there we go, 24.5. Now almost $1 in the money on this name. Let's see if this one can keep pumping here. The spread though, when we break above 24, gets super spready. So the bidders are not following up here. So you feel like the bid is not moving up with you. The ask is moving up, but not really the bid. So not entirely comfortable with this trade quite yet. But who could be comfortable with a name that's up 404% and that nobody probably heard of yesterday? So we'll keep eyes on this one, Adair.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Just good times here. Just talking here to some people in the chat. Always happy to be here. But yeah, this NVDA, we have a dip buy sitting here at 908.30s. I think we might have to switch it to 908.40s. But this range is still working. So I want to be able to take advantage of it. And we're gonna do 45s because what's life without whimsy? No, there's no reason to say what's life without whimsy there. I liked that area.
Good.
But also, I'm pleased this punches for you for your AVTX trade. That's awesome.
Yep.
Also, nothing to report with my Starbucks. If anyone has any names they want us to look at, let us know. Thank you. Hold my beer. We appreciate you as well. Always a good time. But yeah, this Tesla. I want to look at Tesla because Tesla is flat. Tesla, well, it's not flat, but it's kind of been doing a whole lot of nothing, to use that, Sharifism over here. Look at this chop and turn we've had at this 177 for many moons. And it was really bamboozling, too. Like, I got involved because we did have this hold there for a little bit. We tried to eclipse VWAP, and then Tesla was like, so we got pushed to the downside a bit. We're still below VWAP. There could be, actually, if I was really looking for it, we could have a couple penny scalps there, but I don't know if that's in the stars for me right now. This Nvidia range to me seems a lot more fertile. I need to stop using that word in relation to trades because I did this as well a couple of days ago and then Randy was laughing at me for it. So we'll have to see here though. I like the Starbucks. I like the Tesla. Oust, says Sebastian. Yeah, I know Sharif was in Oust yesterday too. That was a multi-day small cap runner. Let's see what we've got going on with this one. Not bad volume either for a 2-day small cap runner. This one, 3 million volume. And this is a chart pattern that I really find interesting. So look at this, just shy of $8 top. Oh, I'm not even drawing my lines, look at that. Also, thanks again to Sharif for teaching me how to do these lines where I don't have to draw it myself. It just puts it there because I know it makes everyone's life a little bit easier. So look at this, we have this 8 top. We're struggling with this $8 area. Look at these failed wicks. We get it the first time we try to break this flag, try to have some chop and churn around VWAP consolidation. We break below VWAP, come up, try 8 again, knocking on the door of 8, and then 8 says no. You will not be allowed into the party. So continuing to fall, also I'm just laughing at Kyle's comment, continuing to fall to the downside there off that $8 area. But yeah, I mean, honestly, this one has there's a lot of oomph in this for a second day runner, right? Like we fall below VWAP, but we reclaim it just as quickly. I just think it needs to break the $8 area for it to get really spicy and interesting. Let's see what we did yesterday, when all was said and done here. Oh, we didn't even really give up much of yesterday's move. Okay, I was just looking pretty. In terms of in terms of long term, yeah, like for a small cap gapper daily chart, this is not bad at all. Let me see what Oust's deal is. Ouster is the name of the company. Oh, they just got reiterated overweight and $8 price target from Cantor Fitzgerald. So nothing new, but maintaining that strong rating. Massive support here, I think, around this 460 area, because we had a little bit of resistance there earlier. So some support, a little bit of resistance. So I think that area to me, 460 is interesting for a little cushion. And this 840 area, if we can break above that, look at this massive bearish engulfing candle in the daily, that would be a nice look. For now, though, Ouster needs to be able to hold with a viciousness that $8 area on the day. Also, we're in Nvidia, so I'm probably going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
She is a spicy, feisty creature. So I will deal with that. But yeah, Sebastian, I hope that helps. Also, we just got a super chat as well from Papa Powell.
Oh,
there.
Okay, I'll take care of it. You do your thing over there. Papa Powell dropping $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Can you look at Cron, next breakout cannabis name? All right. Let's have a look at CRON. That's been on my watch list, I'd say, for maybe 4 years now. So not one that I keep tabs on every day, but here is the look on Cron. Let me just pull in the ticker. It's a perfect name, I mean, for weed, Cron.
It's apt.
Come on, bro, it's quite apt. Let's look at the deets. All right, Cron, down 0.67, billion market cap. The float on Cron, about 200 million shares thereabouts. What's the wider look here on CRON? Okay, it's a recovery off the bottoms. As you can see there, the COVID highs, that's when weed was running. We ran a couple of times, right? Once in 2018 when we had federal legalization in Canada, and then again in the run-up to the election, the previous election, the 2020 election, when Kamala Harris was debating Mike Pence and that whole legalization thing came into play, federal legalization down south. So since that time, as you can see, it's been down and to the right, but looked like we formed a bit of a base here, at least earlier this year at $1 2/3, $1 3/4, thereabouts. Since that time, we have been putting in higher lows and higher highs. Not amazing, but not bad either, okay? So every subsequent trough is a little bit higher than its predecessor, and so are the crests. So look at this crest over here, 265, the high. Now this one, 295. So incrementally making our way up. Not a bad look. I don't know anything specifically about the company. I know it's Canada-based. It's Canadian. The technicals are a little tougher to read. It is up today? No, it's down points. Oh, well, on my chart it says down 0.67. Let me load it up on the side, though. Thanks, Chilean Nightmare. Yeah, actually, you're right. It didn't update. Thank you, Fabian. It's up 2.4%. Just I have to scroll onto the actual name on my watch list for whatever reason for it to update. So not a bad daily chart. Kind of hard to see the areas of resistance. I'm really inclined to say something at 3 1/3. Owing to the amount of tops that we had over here. But as you can kind of move back a little bit, let's see. Well, look, the other thing that I negated to mention is that we actually broke and took the 200. The 200 is a solid line on my chart, the blue solid line on my chart. All right, and then look at what happened earlier at the 200. Every time we'd come in to the 200, we would reject. And then again, over here. And then even when we broke it earlier in this past September, we retraced below it quite quickly. Now we've taken the 50 and the 200 on a closing basis, and we have been above them for some time. So this is quite bullish here, especially because of the trend of rejecting off the 200 for almost a couple of years. So good call out there, Papa. I got to tell you, I like this, but just be ready for bamboozlement, right? Because that's just how these wheat stocks are. On the intraday, let's look at the intraday now. Yeah, I mean, you're not getting a whole lot in volume. It's a $2.75 name. You've got 1.84 million shares done on the day. So the volume is just not there. If you're looking at trading this intraday, I can't help you there. It's just not enough data off which to base my trade. So, but good luck otherwise, though. Maybe for your for a swing trade or for a long-term hold. Obviously, not financial advice, but doesn't look bad at all. All right, let me go back into AVTX here because we're getting a nice little base there at 22.5. Look at that. So we troughed out there, and then we couldn't make it quite as low down as we did earlier. Now, what I want to see is, number one, do we hold up at the volume weighted average price, which on my side chart is 22 mid-80s, thereabouts. So we're a little bit above it right now. That's number one. Number two, can we get above and hold above this $24 area, right? We used 24 initially as support over here at around, what, 1040 or so. Then we gave up the goods on 24, and then we started using 24 not as support anymore, but as resistance. So let's keep an eye on AVTX up 385%. I want to see if it can, number one, hold the volume weighted average price. Number two, break and hold above 24. I mean, it's presenting us with opportunities. We just have to be able to figure out how to take them. Let's see what else people are yapping about in the chat there. Let's go Uber, says Alex. All right, let's go Uber. Haven't had a look at Uber for a while.
Yeah, let's pamp Uber.
Uber.
But yeah, so I was gonna say, yeah, so Starbucks, I did take out some profits here. Yeah, I'm happy with this look. I'm gonna cancel my rip sell because I'm not gonna get it. Oh, I like that button there. Thank you.
Ooh,
nice money rain there. We dipped into 45s and then we dipped back out of 45s. I'm still saving a piece for the dream here. So again, shout out to Kyle Burdett for calling this one out to me. But yeah, I was pretty happy with this trade. Always just trying to take advantage of the opportunities. We did take an L on Nvidia, so it was not a Winvidia here for me. But honestly, I should have been more cognizant of what we did at this bottom here in the 5 minute instead of trading this purely off the 1 minute. So that is a lesson that I need to learn. On that, this range did kind of slope a little bit. Where's my 1 minute chart? There we go. So I was really just trying to take these pops. We didn't have enough of a pop here when I got in. The range decided it wanted to take a little bit of a sick day, and that's okay. You know what? It's a holiday weekend. I understand. Ranges have to take breaks too, but I do want to keep an eye on what we're doing here because there is some consolidation in Nvidia that I think if I really have my eye on it and I'm very scalpy about it, I can play. Also, I attempted to scalp the SPY. We did lose on it, but I'm really proud of myself because we did have super tight risk in mind. I was only going to give this, what did we scalp this off, the 1 minute? Yeah, here we go. I was noticing we kind of had this really hard time breaking above the 60s initially. I gave this like 5 pennies, immediately got out when we got out. So I didn't lose too much on this trade. Definitely nothing, to cry about because I'm really proud of just being able here to have the plan. Although now we are dipping lower in the SPY. So it might have been one of those things where the concept of it was not incorrect. The timing of it was. And it's okay. The SPY to me looks more like potentially a long anyway with these higher highs, higher lows. We're near the high of day. So I'm going to keep an eye on the SPY. I spy is I guess a better way of putting it. So I'll keep doing that. Because I think that there's probably some scalp opportunities for me there. Microsoft, if you take this with a lot of shares, when I say you, I mean me in this case, because this is, as Sharif sometimes calls it, Nadera Panera trade. I think that might be what's happening here in Microsoft. Look at this range. It's such a little tiny range. 420.75 bottom, 420.120 top. So the thing is with this, though, is this is on the 1 minute. You're not going to get all of that movement in every single little candle, you know what I mean? You might have to be a little bit patient, which, as we know, is not my strong suit. But if I can pack the patience, and Sharif will be packing patience, and also for his safari soon, so that's exciting. But yeah, I think if I can pack that patience, I think there's something here potentially in a Microsoft scalp. I don't have a lot of things here, though. Although Hog Rider, mentioning one of my favorite little stocks, Eli Lilly looking for a breakout. So let's see how she's doing. Oh. She is below a milli, but she's just 100,000 below a milli. So 100,000 shares, girl. I will see you. You were still on my side chart. And Hog Rider is completely right. Look, this is beautiful. Get above a milli, Lily. Look at this bottom of 487.40. Oh, sorry, 787.40. And this top of these, more or less the same high here, the 792. This is beautiful. And I see what you mean. We do slightly lower highs here, Hog Rider, but nothing super significantly lower. And also we have this big flag pull up. A lot of this to me looks very bullish. So I'll be keeping an eye on Mademoiselle. And if Mademoiselle would like to get another 100,000 shares so I can feel more comfortable going long, because I've tried going long Lily, or tried to trade Lily in general below 1 million shares, and it just is not a vibe. But if she would like to be a vibe, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, now the SPY drops. So the SPY, a little bit of spiciness in the SPY. Also, Monty G, thank you so much for your member chat here. Member for 7 months. Made my tape take up my full 36-inch vertical screen and show 3 colors from trades that ask bid in between. Small caps, early morning, learning lots, money face emoji, money face emoji. So thank you so much. Also a small cap trader here as well. And right now you're with the big boys here in the Fuge.
Yeah, I know. I love how you pointed it out. It always puts me on the spot.
Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to.
I'll focus on something else. Let's look at TSLA at the moment, because it is really curling down at the moment right now. Look at that break of 177 on the way down to 176, 175.70, technically a low of day at the moment. But you know, where do we find support here? I'm gonna have to look at that whole dollar level first for Tesla, and then maybe we'll look at low of day. Tried to draw a bit of a trend line there, but it really wasn't holding up at it at the moment. So we'll keep eyes on TSLA. Also coming down into the closing print for yesterday is NVDA coming into that 902.5. That is also another interesting area. This area, we bounced off it aggressively, but it did have aggressive wicks below that 902.5. But all the closing prints were a little bit north of that level. So keep your eye on NVDA if we were to make it back into 902.5. Another way to play this is NVDL. So that would be an interesting look as well. So keep your eye on that. Let's flip back to some of these small cap gappers. Let me bring them in from the side over here and have a look at what we're looking at for small cap gappers. AVTX continuing to hold that 23 or thereabouts area, that 22.5. VWAP in general. We were criticizing this one earlier that it wasn't respecting the volume weighted average price owing to how it traded in the pre-market as well as at the opening bell. But now it looks as if it's given VWAP a lot of respect. Look at all the support that it's getting at these levels. So AVTX here as well. And then ORTK trying to really reclaim the volume weighted average price. Nice surge there. Volume candle coming and breaking above that 80 penny area on its way to 90 pennies. High day though, $1.07. So good look for that one as it comes off that 20 period moving average, holding the 20 period really well here for ORTK for whatever reason. BDRX also breaking down now. So we traded this one nicely for a little win, then it huadunked on us. Big drop below the volume weighted average price, and now it is coming back into that 150 area. We're talking about the $1.50 being an interesting area of support on BDRX. Keep your eye on it. It's about 4 pennies away from that level right now. So could present you with another possible opportunity here. Not much going on for Donald John Trump on the day. 69.87, essentially a $70 high, breaking down $7 below that right now, trading at 63 1/5. Low of day though, 62 1/4. There's been no uptrend. I don't see any higher high or higher low off this name, so it's been a bit of a retracement. But when you look at the price action, we're still within yesterday's range. We're still holding the lows from yesterday, which is at 62 1/5, and we're definitely below yesterday's high. So a bit of an inside day, and the range is getting tighter and tighter. Look at the previous day on that. So if you were to draw a bit of a trend line between the 2 days, you can see the price starting to compress a little bit on DJT, and when you zoom out, you see what preceded that. It was a big uptrend. So maybe we'll get a big pop through 70. Maybe not today, maybe sometime next week on DJT, but I'm keeping that on my side chart here as it presents good trading opportunities. And last but not least, Reddit. We haven't said too much about this. Adair was mentioning in the morning that we had insider selling by both the CEO and the COO. So that's precipitated some, obviously, some selling on this name. Also, the individuals who got shares, not just the mods, but everybody else who was participating in this IPO, none of them have blackout periods, right? There are no blackout periods here for this particular name. So we could see a lot of volatility. You don't have to wait 6 months. So I'll keep my eye on these 6. I think they're all presenting us with interesting opportunities. Oh, AVTX just broke aggressively below the volume weighted average price. So this one not tradable in my book anymore. We'll see what it does if it's able to reclaim that level, Adara.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting day here in the markets, trying to find some opportunities wherever they may be. Out of Starbucks, maybe I did get it a little bit early, but just I wanted to make sure we had some out as we get to this low of day. Shout out to, I know Coin Clockin, I believe, said they were in the Starbucks short, and Kyle Burdett's in the Starbucks short and pointed this one out to me. Shout out to you. This is my only positive name on the day right now. I'm going to be really real, but I am working on risk management, so we're not down too much on the other names. Just trying to one trade at a time, do the learning, and try to find some opportunities here to get involved. Tesla, a little bit of support here at that earlier drop. Let's pull this up here. I want to say double bottom because it's not a perfect double bottom. This is a slightly higher low, but look at these 5-minute candles. We close here at 176 and then we pop right back up at 176. I want to see another candle of confirmation, especially because we're coming into that previous area of resistance there at that 176.42. That was the area we had support, so support can become resistance, and we don't know if it will until we see what happens, but it can, so we want to be aware of that. Microsoft's just hanging out, honestly. This is so rangy, but I also feel like we could break down at any moment. And I say that because we're kind of seeing these slightly lower highs and a bit of a flat bottom. I'm not going to go long against this, but I'm going to, we're going to have a resting order at like 421s. Because I think 421 could be a decent area here. Just get short. Not taking a massive position, but I do like the idea of being able to take some off at the bottom around VWAP here. I think there's some opportunities on that. Also, we have the SPY, which I was involved with briefly to the downside and then briefly to the upside. I will admit, me trying to go long here in retrospect was probably more.
I did, but it tells me
of a revenge trade than I'll be honest, it was probably a bit of a revenge trade because I went short here. We immediately popped up into 70s, and again, my risk parameters were probably a little too strict. So I got out. I was like, oh no, and then we dropped like a good 20, 30 cents. Then I tried to go long because we were holding for a little bit at this 523.40 area, and then again, set my risk parameters, set my stop a little too conservatively, and then we get out. So that's one of my biggest issues. I just need to really work on A, timing my entries correctly, and B, having good entry points. Because sometimes the ideal will be right, as was the case with actually, both of these trades inherently. Just the timing and the motivation is very awry. So I need to work on writing that and correcting that, and then hopefully we'll have a little bit more success here with some of our trades. Because that's what we're aiming towards, how to trade, trying to take these baby steps and working towards something. So that will be what I am working towards. Nvidia, also, it's bamboozling. I should probably be looking at my NVDL. Shout out to Sharif mentioning that one. I know Obi was involved in that one as well today too, so shout out. But yeah, I want to see what we do here. At this 906 area, we're currently knocking on the door of. So let's see, we have this earlier little trough here around VWAP 906. Then we break above VWAP here now, and will we do it successfully? Will we burst the door down? Will we Jerome Powell close the door? We'll have to wait and see here. But Nvidia, I think there's something spicy brewing around this area, and as I say that, it breaks above. So we'll have to wait and see. Really, I'm just kind of looking for some trades here because I think there's a lot of stuff happening and not a lot of good opportunities. So Microsoft, if you want to go back to that 421 so I can get short, I'd be pleased as punch.
I was going to mention, sorry guys, I got logged out of my account for the chat, so on my YouTube side I won't be able to participate in the chat. It's not letting me log in for whatever reason, so just wanted to point that out. But I'll try to keep my eye on the chat, but I won't be able to respond. All right, so let's see exactly what we got here. I just got into this. Whoa, the market's coming down here. Amazon is really coming down, guys. Wow, what a big move down by Amazon there. I was keeping an eye on this level here on AMZN. We tried this. We just lost 10 pennies super quick here on AMZN. But I was looking at this pre-market high, this 180.50, to be an interesting area of support, but it blew through that all the way down. It just lost $1 there in about, less than 10 minutes here on AMZN. So let me look here, see if exactly what's going on. Is there anything going on here? What is this? Amazon bets $150 billion on data center acquired. That's Bloomberg. I don't think that's it. That's not going to be it for me. That came in 11.39. That's not market moving like that. Maybe it's just regular price action on AMZN. But this was the strongest Mag 7 name on the day. Until about 5 minutes ago, it was up about 0.5% or so, a little bit more than that. Followed by Nvidia, which is up 1/3%. Everything else, including Netflix, is in negative territory today, down red. So we'll keep eyes on this one. It had been holding VWAP quite well at that, let's just say 180.75-ish area, and that had been the case for the entire morning. And you weren't even really putting aggressively lower highs. I mean, with this one, you pop back up into that 181.25, but that one really heading down. Now, break even on the day. The closing print from yesterday on AMZN hanging around 179.85 or thereabouts. Let's see if this one makes it down there. I mean, I don't have any other support levels here for Amazon except this closing print from yesterday, which is still about, about 65 or whatever pennies away from that area. Let's look at Meta. Meta is coming down almost here into that support level 1 on pivots, which is at around 487.25. This also used the 20 period. The 20 period seems to feature into a lot of my analysis lately. Many different rejections here off the 20 period today on Meta, and now it's coming down at its lowest point on a closing basis, right? So it did wick down a little bit below that to 485.80, but it quickly retraced and closed above 488. This is as low as it's closed on the day. The first close both low 488. Meta giving some back here after being strong for many months, down 1.25% a day.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just babysitting Nvidia, but Nvidia's really nicely rejecting this 907 as I say that it breaks above 907. So Nvidia, like, oh yeah, Dara, we're gonna make you out to be a little bit of a liar. That's okay. That's okay. I should have taken NVDL, and the reason I didn't was because I'm trying to figure out like my share size situation. So maybe we should have done that, but you live, you learn, you grow. I did not grow in this trade, and but as Sharif says, you either win or you learn. And so with that in mind, we did learn. Thank you so much though, and congrats to Willis Addison, $2 super chat. Thank you very much for the support. Let's go. Tesla puts 178.76, 175 strike. April 5th expiry, GME to the downside. So look at both of these for you, and congrats to Willis Addison for those trades. Yeah, this Tesla puts here 17. Oh yeah, this is a nice look here to the downside. So that would have been around this 178.60 area. Swoop to the downside goes Tesla. You are about $2 plus in the money. So this is a massive move here, and congrats to you for that trade. That's an excellent look. Let's look at GME here for Willis Addison as well. Yeah, GME is weak since those earnings that we had yesterday. Not yesterday, Tuesday night. They did miss across the board there. But yeah, I mean, lower highs, lower lows. Let's look at the daily chart, see what we've been doing since those earnings after close on Tuesday that Sean brought to you on his market recap show. Yeah, I mean, look at this. And it's interesting too. We quit doomed off of those earnings at that 15 level, which is also really wild because 15 was clearly an area of previous resistance, at least in from what I can see here on the daily. And look at that support we had in this earlier. Like this 15 level has some weird magnetism here for our pal GameStop. So the games stopped at 15, and now we're heading to the downside. Congrats to you, Willis Addison. Also, I'm seeing some stuff here in the chat on Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm going to confirm that before I say anything on that, but it does sound like the sentencing has been completed. I'm just going to make sure, though, I'm going to check some stuff to make sure we're all good on that. Thank you.
Keep an eye on, I was keeping an eye on Amazon here, but I don't think I'm going to take a trade on this because I don't like it at this level. This is not the level that I charted for an area of support, so it could be a dead cat bounce, and then we can watch Amazon continue to head down. So I'll keep eyes on that. Where are these small cap gappers that were plenty on the day that all of a sudden disappeared? All right, I see another. What's up, Katina Man?
25 years, but he's going to serve.
I'm seeing 20.
The Katina Man said 25 years. But Adara's seeing 20. Yeah, we'll see what he gets, man. But yeah, I don't really feel that bad for him. So, oh well. CERO, let's pull up that bad boy. That one just showed up on my scanner. Let's bring it the side charts. All right. CERO, let's pull that up. You guys can come to the charts, yeah. CERO. Let's look this. Okay, so a lot of topping tail candles here. I don't know exactly how I feel about this looking chart over here. Up into 269. The range per candle is just too wild. What is the volume on this? 3.36 million, a $35 million market cap. 500,000 share float, about 539,000 shares. So this is interesting. It's not a bad name. Is there a catalyst? We'll have to check real quick. I don't actually see a catalyst on CERO. Is this a multi-day runner? All right, let's go back into the daily. Yeah, this is a multi-day runner. This ran March 7th. Look at that. It popped up into 28. I knew I remembered this from somewhere. Anyway, CRO showing up today, but I just think the volume is a little too suspicious, and I'm not really liking the way it's trading. So we'll keep it on the side chart. If it changes its tune or its look, we'll get involved with that. All right, Apple coming into the volume weighted average price here. This could be another interesting area to reinstitute a short on Apple, especially because the volume weighted average price and VWAP are very near that 171 whole dollar. I'll need a rejection first off the level before jumping in, but you've had lower highs on AAPL. It hasn't really exactly respected the volume weighted average price. There's been a couple of perfunctory breaches here and there, but right at that level. So I'll be watching AAPL here for a possible rejection trade off that level. In fact, let's just pull it up on the side screen here. Or the trading screen and have it ready in case it does do that nice rejection. We'll be ready to punch in at these levels. I don't want to sit at the volume weighted average price waiting for a dip. I'd like for it to prove to me that it's going to reject off that level first. Great bottom there at 170.50 on AAPL, very predictable. The half dollar. Now we're dealing with the whole dollar at 171. The future a little sideways today too, if I could say so myself. A very, very zigzaggy. Ooh. It kind of almost looks like an audio wave, right? A little bit of this, a little bit of that, with the top end of the range. I mean, I know we had this breach into 18.538, but in reality, really, it's been more like that 18.510, 18.515. Look at all the wicks. A little bit below 5, a little bit above 5, a little bit below 5. Yeah, this is a futures trader's nightmare here, unless you're going to trade these ranges, but you're not getting direction either way. You're not getting a direction on the breakdown. You're not getting a direction on the breakout. So the future doing sideways things today. And there's a lot of overlap between the Nvidia chart and the futures chart. And we made that observation yesterday. Let's show you side by side here. On the left screen is Nvidia. And on the right screen is the future. I mean, like, look at this, right? Very, very similar, zigzaggy. But they're both super sideways, except where pivots is going to be a little bit different because that calculates the high, low, and close from the previous day. So keeping eyes on the NQ and NVDA. Let's see what else we got going on over here. Donald John Trump on the way down, baby. We're about to see 60 soon. If we can break 61, looks like we got to that 61.25, down almost 7% on the day, but doing volume, baby. It's about 10.5 million shares on the $60 name, and we haven't even hit noon hour yet. So the volume's there for whoever can get the shorts. I don't have it on my platform here, but I can definitely get them from Real Trading. I was about to say Day Trade the World, but I caught myself there. Tesla, nice. Finding that support at 176, now on the way up into 177. However, still lower highs, right? So we haven't printed anything above the crest that we made here at 177.80-ish. So we'll keep eyes on TSLA. What's going on over there, Katina, man? What are you wowing about? He's going through charts, sorry.
Nvidia is just on inconsistent,
lower highs?
yeah, it's like sloping down.
The Katina man says Nvidia is sloping down.
Short 9, 10, 50.
He's still short 9, 10, 50, and I have to agree with that because look at these lower highs that we're putting in here. 913 top, and then we crest out at 910 and a third. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, NVDA, but you know, when we look at it, it's awfully consolidative on the day of Dara.
Yeah, I mean, that consolidation makes me interested. That's why I'm trying to get involved in we always get a couple pennies away from our area, and then Nvidia's like, maybe not. Nvidia wants to keep me out, Nvidia. And you know what? I wish it wouldn't, because we had some ill-fated and probably, honestly, ill-conceived scalps in this earlier, but now we are in Nvidia, and I'm going to actually try to stay in this a little bit longer for a win Nvidia. I definitely do not have as good a price point here as Sean, but I did like these lower highs. We're going to be seeing what we do into this 908, 909 area. I do not want a higher high in Nvidia. No, I do not. If we reject 908, I'm going to add to this position though, and I want to be kind of taking it out in certain areas as we slope to the downside. But for now, I'm actually going to be patient, which is not something I do often or well. I'm going to be a little bit patient in this trade. We're going to have some stuff out, though, for that 906 area, because I did like 906 earlier. Took a short off that 906. I think it's, for whatever reason, an interesting area for NVDA. But right now, pretty much flat in this trade, which for Nvidia is not too shabby. I am down on the name, though, when all is said and done. Also, yeah, that Q chart looks beautiful for at least from like a range perspective. So I'm gonna take the Q short. Although maybe because I know the TQQs they're less expensive, so maybe we'll do the QQQs. Yeah, we're gonna take the TQQs. We're going to take the TQQ short here. We're going to get out if we break above. Sean, are you short the Qs?
No, that's what I've been trading.
Oh, right, the TQQs. Thank you, appreciate that. Also, I know Sharif was trading these earlier too, right? The TQQs. So, TQQ gang over here.
Nice, I'm back
in the market. So we're going to take this short 95s, hopefully here. Also, yeah. So I did see. I was checking on CNBC initially on the website. They said that Sam Bankman-Fried got 20 years, but he did get 25 years. They corrected it. So that's why I wanted to wait and make sure. 25 years for Sam Bankman-Fried. Thank you to Sean for telling me that one immediately. But yeah, so that is how many years Sam Bankman-Fried has, 21. So he will be in prison if he serves the whole sentence until he is over 50.
I just
He's like early
imagine
30s.
people showing up to his parole hearing. There's going to be like an army of people wanting him not to get parole.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be a parade of people who are going to come with victim impact statements and keep that dude in jail. So, whatever. That's his problem.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got going on. All right, Meta coming down yet again. So, all right, so we're selling off aggressively here on META, guys. And, where do we find support? Here we go. So we're at pivot level support 1 at that 487. So we'll see if we can curl up off these levels. I was about to get into an Amazon short. And then I missed my entry, so I canceled it. And what I liked about this one is that it broke below the 50 period, came into that 50 period, then started rejecting it. So I was like, okay, this looks like a dead cat bounce. So it looks like Amazon may be on the way down here. Keep an eye out for that 180.20 break. If that makes a new low, we could easily see that 179.83 area, which is the closing print from yesterday. Apple also at the volume weighted average price. We kept talking about this one, 171-ish area. We'll see if Apple rejects off these levels. DZ Bank giving Apple a downgrade today, but Dan Ives on Squawk Box this morning pounding the desk about Apple and Tesla, actually both, making his case for how he feels both those companies are going to do in the next couple of years. So we'll take Apple short here, and we're going to give it a short leash, maybe above to 15, Adara.
Yeah, no, I think Apple, hopefully, you, Tim Cook, on that trade in a good way. I hope it goes really well there for you. Also, we were saying, too, Sharif was saying that Dan Ives, who, if you don't know who he is from Wedbush, will often wear a very colorful shirt. I'm going to actually Google so we have some visual images here. But apparently, Sharif was saying today he wore like a Pepsi blue, so Sharif's favorite color, Pepsi blue shirt, which for him is very not his normal look here. So here's, I think this is a really good example. So I'll just pull this one up. So this is where he is. Here he is. There is Dan Ives in, I just got rid of him, but yeah, in like a very paisley pink shirt. So this is the type of normal look. So I was joking, he was very sad he had to drop the price target there for Tesla by $15, so it was a little bit more of a somber moment for him, hence why he wore that not pink shirt. Yeah, all jokes aside, Dan Ives very bullish on Tesla, so for them to drop the price target, even $15 is pretty significant.
Yeah, he was trying to make the case. He's like, look, the numbers, I think we're going to get the delivery numbers on Monday.
I think there's a lot of
Monday
brokerages
like
changing there.
Yeah. I think we're getting deliveries on Monday for Tesla specifically. Sometimes it comes out on the weekend. But his point was that this is going to be the trough of delivery. So it's going to be as bad as it gets, according to him. So we'll have to see whether or not he's accurate at all about that. But that's his little precision there. What's that?
Oh yeah, Randy moved him yesterday, so I wanted to. Yeah, Randy moved Trend to ticker the trading turtle, and and Randy made her like a little bit of both. So we're gonna fix her now. She's all happy. Here she is. Instead of the bulls and bears, we have Trenda, who she is not biased. She is not bullish or bearish. She likes trending tickers, hence her name, Trenda Ticker.
All right, good, good.
Also, shout out Real
Having her
Trading.
around.
Yeah.
Shout out Real Trading. What do you got over there?
Yeah, I mean, we have this Nvidia trade. I am being patient, which, like I said, not a virtue I often possess. So this is fun for me. Just kind of wait. And I don't even say that sarcastically. Also, I can't really do sarcasm. So again, not sarcastic. But it's kind of fun to test my boundaries a little bit, right? We're being patient. We're waiting on this trade. We added to this trade. So I'm going to wait and see here. I know Sean's been short Nvidia since 9:10. So I mean, great. That shout out to him. That's a great look. And I really want to be able to take advantage of these lower highs and lower lows that we have. I added it at 908, and we just held at 908, and then we dropped. So I was like, pretty happy with that. We are about 2 cents out of the money on TQQs, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Also, Martin Lawrence, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Just saw this one now. Either Biden or Kennedy will legalize cannabis with a little ticking time and a bomb. Yeah, but let's look at MSOS. I know. Shout out to Fabian you're earlier saying that MSOS was on the move, and I know we talked about Cron earlier as well for another super chat, I believe. But yeah, MSOS. Yeah, volume on this is about 5 million. This is interesting, actually. These levels. I try not to use. I'm not very successful at it, but I'm trying not to use levels as much for my ETFs. But I do like that we have this continued area of this 1018. We have this rejection of 1018, another little rejection, and once more, a rejection at 1018. So I think there's something in the water here at 1018 for MSOS, or something in the pipe, maybe, for MSOS, something down the pipeline. I don't know. But yeah, this is an interesting one. Danny Lyons saying Nvidia is bullish. Yeah, I have to admit, I am a little bit hesitant with this one right now, with how we are chopping and turning along that 9 EMA. But honestly, like, we have had these lower highs, and that I cannot dismiss. And that's why, I'm trying to take more advantage of stuff when I see it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're going to be getting out above if we break and make a higher high. But really, my biggest issue is I see things I like and I don't get involved because I'm too skittish or I'm too scared. And I'm trying to curb that. So that's why I wanted to get involved in this. That being said, Dandy Lions, I'm seeing the same thing you are, and it does give me a little bit of pause, but I have no reason to exit the trade yet because my impetus for exiting the trade would be a higher high, which we don't have yet. Yeah, so I wanted to address that. I do definitely pick up what you're putting down there, though. But right now, we're not going to be out Nvidia unless we get our little pops into that 906 area for my beak wetter, or we break above that 909. But we're really struggling with 908, which does give me a confidence here to stay in this trade. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Short AMZN, looking for this to come back down. Nice rejection off that VWAP retracement for Amazon. I missed my price though there, so I was a little disappointed. I had to get mid 40s. I was really looking for that mid 50s, low 60s area. And look at this one come down here. So here comes the third of a dollar. Let's see if we can make it down into that trough area. The trough area on Amazon for me is that low 120s. Maybe, 180.22, 180.25, thereabouts. This is the area I'm talking about over here. I'm looking for a lower low. So we came up into a key area of support, that being the volume weighted average price. Also, it was kind of the bottom end of this VWAP hold range. And this is what I mean by that. So look at this over here. So you have this hold here at VWAP, holding, right? You come back into that level and reject. So it's nice when they flip, support becomes resistance, and got short on this, doing well on this one. Let's see if we can get a bit of a bigger move down into that $0.25, maybe a fifth of a dollar on AMZN. We'll have to wait and see. This one was a strong one on the day. I don't know what's going on with it. And now it's getting a little weak. So that's too bad for it. Maybe we'll sit at the $0.25. So I'll sit here at 25s in case, it comes down there and I'm not noticing. But yeah, nice big red candle there. Got stopped at Apple, and I'm a little annoyed by that. I want to get right back into Apple here because I still feel the trade is valid at these levels. So we'll see. We'll look to get short Apple again here because I feel like we are wicking through the VWAP area, but it looks like we are rejecting that VWAP area. So short Apple again. Let's see if I can get a better print. I was about to say gooder. A better print on AAPL. Here comes that $0.25 level on AMZN. So if it crosses that quarter level, we shall get filled. 26 is showing up on the bid. We need 25s or 24s or something thereabouts to come to cross, because we have to cross over and then we'll get printed there. If we get printed, we'll have to wait and see. AAPL, where are we here? Okay, so all right. So Apple coming into that 170 area again. I guess decisions to be, no, I'm gonna let Apple cook here, do its thing. Apple, I know, I heard it. I promise you, I heard it. I didn't actually mean to say it that way, because
I know
all I hear is these like high school kids at the gym that because I go to the gym right after work, and so they always come after school as well. So like, yo, I was cooking, bro. I cooked on that, bro. So you hear that, and then you absorb it. And you start saying it, and it doesn't sound that good, but
yeah,
anyway.
Kids at the gym are like one of the most specific types of people.
All right, we're
printing
printing here. Sorry, I got.
Oh, nice, yeah.
On AAPL, nice break through 171. I knew that this was the right trade, but we're gonna get it cut up on it. This is a VWAP rejection, but you're not gonna get the exact rejection. You're gonna get these wicks here and there, and that's just the nature of the game. So got right back in, and it's paying the price, baby. Nice. On the way down, 25 pennies in the money on AAPL here. I'm going to let this one go. I covered whatever I had left on AMZN at the $0.25. Pleased with that trade as well. Let's see if Apple can Tim Cook.
Yes, I like that. That was intentional. No, I'm very happy for you that you got that Apple trade. Oh, yeah, live tradertv.live.
I love it.
Is very bullish on that saying, let them cook, with 10 million O's and a plethora of 100 emojis.
Big Kyle Burdett. I can see you at the gym giving them youngsters lectures on whipping the equipment off and what the best TikToks are. Bro, I can't tell you how many of these kids I have to yell on a monthly basis. Stop dropping the weights. They're not for you. They're not yours. And it's very distracting to people who are doing real exercises and who are trying to concentrate. All right, I am. I'm doing the real exercises. All right, covering here on Apple Adair.
Yeah, I'm covering here on NVDA as well, because this market had a nice little pop and I want to take advantage of it. And I think we might, NVDA might have a little bit too much of a bounce. If we get below that 905 nicely, I will be getting out here. I think the thing is too is I just should have had a beak wet already. I'm just not prepared for that big floosh that we had in the market to the downside. But that was a fun one. I have to say I was a little bit invigorated and not at all my type of trade, because I know some people in the chat were, and I think understandably, kind of like, oh, like this Nvidia short looks like it could be a little bit dicey. There were, we did have this really hard time getting above that 90 MA. Some people were also pointing out these lower lows with a flat top. And yeah, I mean, I do see all of that. And that's why I wanted to get out here. I honestly should have had gotten everything out at 905. Then we broke below, and I was like, you know what, Adair, you're not going to get 904s, and we still might get 904s. But I just wanted to get out because already this is not the type of trading I really like. We did have that bull pennant in Nvidia, and if we pick back up here at 905s, I might go long, but I'm going to want a lot of confluence. Shout out to Obi there if I do decide to go long on this. But yeah, pretty happy with this trade. Also, I took the Qs. Short TQQQ, and we just took this really on a range basis here. I like the top. I got out when we had that bottom of the range. We did break lower on that nice swoop down in the Qs, but still happy I got out. Tesla also, a little bit of a short opportunity. Showed it again to Willis Addison, killing it there on those Tesla puts with that super chat earlier, so shout out to you. This 177 area, or no, 176.80, we try to pop back into VWAP, and VWAP and Tesla are not besties. They're not Besla. Yeah, that didn't work. We had these failed kind of wicks here into 177.10, and then we continue to fall to the downside. I don't want to say flat bottom break, but we do have flat bottom and lower highs, so I'm seeing some of the makings of that. Also, very happy I got out of Nvidia when I did, because Nvidia popping back up here. Like I said, I have no qualms about a 905 long, but I want to be cautious before I get involved, because honestly, like I feel with Nvidia, Neil says wait on the back end, and I do agree with getting it in the back end for sure. You want to make sure you have that confluence. But sometimes with stuff in Nvidia, if you get involved midway through the move, it can get you can get a little bit hairy, at least for myself, because I do not have the experience to kind of understand the timing as well as I would like to, right? So I want to be cognizant of this. If Nvidia bounces off that 905 again, that's something I would probably be interested in. But this Tesla short here, testing that 176 bottom, is interesting to me. The TQQs trying to recover a little bit here at that 161.69 is interesting to me. But yeah, I have to say, pretty proud of that Nvidia trade, and I'm not going to try to trade my PNL. I'm not going to like hold off just because we had that trade, because honestly, like we didn't have that many shares on it. But I'm proud of that trade, and I'm going to use the way I felt in that trade to motivate me for hopefully some more cool positions, because I was pretty pleased as punch. Louis Tordero saying, be cautious with stops to me. And I totally agree. My biggest issue too is I find I actually give myself not enough room with my stops. I'll have them way too restrictive, and then it won't really work out.
That's a hell of a trade, though.
Thank you.
That's a hell of a trade, because it was a predefined range and you stuck to your guns. I mean, how many times are we going to bounce off this level? And I know you're on the TQQs, but obviously we know what's moving the TQQs, and it goes by the name of the NQ. Look at this. You bang on every single time it bounces off pivots here. And then excellent trade, Adara.
Thank you very much.
Excellent trade. And you know what? This is kind of like the nightmare scenario for the wick shimmy dance analysis. Because what we look for, and especially, well, not after an entire day of trading or an entire morning of trading, but initially when we reclaimed 500 from the north side and we started bouncing off 500, I'm like, okay, great, we're doing the wick shimmy dance from the north side. This is going to be a long. And then you get this bamboozlement to make you feel like you're on the right track. Okay, we defended 500. We're popping up into almost 18,550, not exactly 38, obviously. And then the big boy Huadun came, and then we really ranged here. So this is kind of the I don't know, the antithesis of the wick shimmy dance, right? I mean, this is kind of going to put you broke if you were to use the wick shimmy dance in this particular instance.
They're dancing too hard. They're like, they need, like I don't know what they're doing, but they're like at a sock hop or something, or a prom. I don't know if you guys have sock hops in like Toronto or America. Like sock hops?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's like this type of dance that I think now I'm realizing only exists in the 1950s or Winnipeg.
Okay,
but it was
we need to Google this. Oh, we need to Google this.
Not specific, it's not like, it's just more of like a type of event. SOC, I think it's SOCHOP, sock hop.
Is it one word? No, it's two words.
No, it's two
sock
words.
Hop?
Yeah, sock hop, there you go.
All right, Graham, don't put it yet, right? Because, it could...
We don't...
All right, chart.
We don't dance like this, but it's like this type of thing where you go in like a gym or a basement,
right? And
you dance. So yeah, I guess that's the wick shimmies. They're dancing like a sock hop. I think I know
exactly what you're talking about here. I don't know the word.
Yeah, well, we don't do like these types of dance, but it's more like the type of event.
Hold on, wait, Ram. We have to confirm.
It's like younger kids too. This is the type of.
Is this it?
Well, we don't dance like that, but it's like the whole idea of a sock hop is very much antiquated, and it's stuck in the 1950s.
Okay, well, it seems like they're having a great old time.
They're having a great time.
17, is that 17 magazine? What's going on back there?
We don't.
Jag and what's his name? And Josh are chiming in back there. All right, guys, I'm sorry. We're having a good time.
Sorry, but anyways, I guess that's what the wick shimmies are doing. Yeah, they're having like a good time tangoing. They're a little bit too lost in their own sauce of having their dancing time. Yeah, shout out to OB on the NQ there. But yeah, I mean, Nvidia, I don't want to get back in this range because I feel like we're getting tighter. I am happy. I'm happy with this short though, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the feeling. But I want to use the feeling of that and the TQQ trade to motivate me for hopefully some more wins. How are you doing over here?
Good. I'm reading what people are saying in the chat. Why is it depressing, Tammy? I think it's okay. They're having a good time. Maybe we don't really like their style anymore, but Big Kyle, that video definitely lacked diversity. Yeah, well, whatever. It's all good there.
It's like the 50s.
Old Canadian show, says Ron Miller. I don't know if is that actually an old Canadian show?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's probably American, yeah.
That's very interesting. All right, guys. Let's get back into some trading here. Let's see what's up. Guys, Meta is awfully weak. Oh, my goodness. This is what I guess the NOS boss would call a rounded top, because, you got a big boy Huadun right at the bell. There was like no ands, if, or buts about that. But then you get that big bottoming tail candle and a plethora of green candles to follow. So you're like, okay, well, maybe we'll have a retracement back into 494. Yesterday's closing prints or thereabout. But no, it does the dance with no pants with that 20-period moving average. Look how many times it rejected the yellow line, the 20. That's why I say, put them out there. Put your indicators out there. See what that instrument is jiving with on that particular day. It's not always going to be the same thing. One day it'll have respect for VWAP. The other day maybe it's the 50 or the 200. put them there, see where what's working on the day, and then use it. Now this one I completely missed. I got to tell you the truth. I did not notice this at all until ex post facto, after the fact. So we'll have to wait and see if we make it back into the 20 period. I'll want all the smoke on that one. But yeah, something tells me maybe we're headed lower here. Now, did we print a new low a day? Technically, what was the low of day on this candle? 485.80. That's the IB low. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons. And then we printed here 485.75. So we broke it by 5 pennies. So we did make a new low a day. Now let's see if we continue to print that way. Getting a bit of a doji candle here, but not too much. Make too much of that. Let's see what else is popping off. Holy cow, everything's super consolidative. You can tell a lot of these traders took a long weekend or a little bit early. Let's flip back to some of the small cap gappers, see if they're doing things. All right, CERO has been, look, I'm really reluctant to trade this name. I don't like the range per candle on this name. I hate this top weekend gap. But what I do like is the fact that it is absolutely magnetically retracing into the volume weighted average price. On every retracement, it does seem to be respecting VWAP for whatever reason. I'm talking about CERO. It's up 56 points on the day. It's at the $0.50 right now, and it is continuing to stay above the volume weighted average price. HOD, 284. I gave you guys deets on this earlier. I'm going to repeat it. $38 million market cap or thereabouts, and the float is minuscule. 539,259,000 share float. Let's check Trade Ideas and NOSBOS's crew to see if there's any short float on this thing. CERO is a ticker. Let's go, bro. No share float there, and the float is a little different than what I'm seeing. It looks as if Trade Ideas has it at 9.33 million. Let's go ahead and look at the daily to see if they did a split here, because sometimes there's a bit of a variance because of the split. No, it doesn't seem like they split at all, so unusual stuff. All right, well, whatever. Let's pull up CERO on a trade screen here. It behooves us to do so.
It does.
It does.
Good word. Word of the day.
We could hit it, but I think we viewed it. Maybe we'll save it for a different.
That's true. We gotta give it some time to percolate.
Right.
Yeah, all the words.
Percolate when says Ram. I don't know. I think percolate's okay. I'm gonna keep eyes on this because right now it's holding up at VWAP. What's the spread on this? Now I'm looking at a 6 penny spread on a $2 name. That's awfully ugly. Look at this. So guys, when you see the green up here, that's level 1. Sometimes it's not going to jive with the first line you hear. So you see on my X how it says 245 and then there it said 244. Right now it's a 2 penny spread. That's not bad. I saw as high as 7. So the spread does open up a little bit on CERO. How many shares has this thing done? 7 million on a $2 name, and it's almost 12.15. Oh crap! I forgot. We have a lesson to do. But I got signed out, so I got to sign back in for all this stuff. Okay, good. There we go. Oh, that's not what I want there. All right, we're going to restart the lesson, guys. We've been talking about continuation breakouts all. We're talking about today. We've been talking about breakout trading all week. So let's get right into that, Ram. All right, continuation breakouts. Imagine driving down a highway. Sometimes you hit a rest stop to catch your breath, but then you get right back on the road, continuing on your journey. That's kind of similar to continuation breakouts in trading. Let's explore how to help identify when the prevailing trend might pick up steam after a little bit of a pause. And that's what we're talking about today. So the trend is your friend. Bracket sometimes. So technical analysis, as we all know, relies heavily on trends, right? Which are essentially what they are, sustained movements in price in one direction, okay? But trends don't always go in a straight line, sadly. It'd be great if they did. Sometimes the market enters a period of what we call consolidation, where the price moves sideways within a defined range, as you saw Dara taking there on the TQQQs. That's exactly what we're talking about, okay? This is where the continuation breakout comes into play. And so let's talk a little bit about that. The power of the continuation breakout. So a continuation breakout occurs when the price decisively breaks out above or below a consolidation pattern in the direction of the prevailing trend. So it's incumbent upon you in these circumstances to look at what the preceding trend was on the name before the consolidation happened. So when we move sideways, what were we doing before that? Were we coming down or were we going up? And try to look for the general trend. Sometimes it's going to be zigzaggy, and you're not going to see a discernible trend preceding the consolidation area. In those cases, I would suggest you to not take the trade on this basis. So an upward trend. After an upward trend, there's a period of consolidation. A breakout above the resistance level of that consolidation suggests that buyers are in control, potentially leading to a continuation of the uptrend. I'm going to show you an example in a second. Downward trend, conversely, same thing, but in the opposite direction. Following a downtrend, a consolidation area will occur. A breakout below the support level of that consolidation area indicates that sellers are regaining strength, and it's hinting at the continuation of the downtrend. Thank you, Adara, for adding these in. Perfect example here. You've got an uptrend that precedes the consolidation. So you need to look at the trend preceding the consolidation, whether for a long or a short, all right? And then, more likely than not, okay, it will continue in the direction of the trend. It is not foolproof. It is not 100% accurate all the time, but the chances are that it continues in the trend. Now, this is an example of a downtrend. We had lower lows, lower highs, then we had a period of consolidation with that 91.5 acting as a top, 90, let's say 91, 91 and a quarter maybe, acting as a bottom, and then Huadunk went the dynamite and we broke the low. All right, so that is exactly what we're talking about there. But not every pause actually means a change. So you saw Adara in a great range trade today on the TQQQs. Does that mean by necessity that it's going to have to break out or break down below those levels? No, it could range until 4 o'clock. And it could be that way. I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying that there's no necessity to break above or below the range, okay? So while continuation breakouts can be powerful signals, it is important to remember that not all consolidations lead to trend continuations. Here's how to be a more discerning trader. Look for volume confirmation, right? I've been mentioning this a lot on both the breakout trades this week and the range trades prior to that. You're looking for a good amount of volume to accompany the break of the consolidation area. That's what you're looking for. High volume in these particular circumstances suggests more conviction behind the price move, increasing the likelihood of a real continuation. Okay? And time frame matters as well, right? The time frame of the consolidation pattern can be relevant. A longer consolidation period might precede a strong breakout move. And I wanted to mention this as well. So look at this area over here. So imagine we didn't have just 2 touches at these tops. We had 6 or 7. I would suggest to you that a consolidation area with 6 or 7 touches at resistance weighs more in my book than one with a couple of touches. That may not be accurate every time, but for me, that's what I'm looking for. How many times has the market tried to break it above that level and failed, right? That shows you the consistent belief in the sellers or the short sellers at that level. And so that, to me, weighs a lot. So not just the time period at which it consolidated, but the amount of times that it touched that key resistance level, okay? Time frame matters. And this is an example of the break on volume over here. So there you go. You have this obvious top here at around, what is this, the Dow? No, there's BTUSD, thank you. I just thought 30,000 was the Dow.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, but 30,000 was the price of Bitcoin.
Crazy.
Yeah, like half the price now. It's crazy. Anyway, so you get that big breakout on volume. That's the point of explaining that chart right there. Now, capitalizing on the move. Once you've confirmed the continuation breakout, right? So you have that trend that preceded consolidation, and then you actually have the consolidation itself within definable levels, both high and low. Now you actually have the breakout. Here are some tips for entering and exiting the trade. So we talked about your entry strategy all week. You have 2 options for a breakout trade. The first I would suggest to you is to actually take the breakout of the level. So if we talked about Apple having that $200 level or Nvidia having that $1,000 level, you could be sitting there at $1,000 and 1 penny or $200 and 1 penny. So once it breaks through, you get filled. All right, so you get the best price. That's the pro. What's the con in that situation? You subject yourself to a false breakout because you haven't confirmed that that 200 level is going to actually hold now as a level of support, or that $1,000 level on Nvidia is going to hold as a level of support. You're kind of guessing that you're getting the break. You haven't gotten the break before, and you think it's going to hold this time. You subject yourself to false breakouts. The other school of thought is you allow that $200 level to go, that $1,000 level to go, and then you wait patiently for that retracement to retest the level of 200 or 1,000. I gotta tell you guys something. This doesn't always work. I'm long Caterpillar from a long time ago. All right. I'm not gonna say where I'm long, but it broke through 300. I wanted to add more. Okay. So I said, look, 300 was an obvious top on Caterpillar going back almost a year, and it broke through 300. It never came back to test 300. It came close, 310. I don't even remember exactly, but it never came back to 300. I had a resting order to add more shares on 300, and it never came back. So if you choose to take that retracement entry strategy, you may miss the trade, or you may have to get in at a way higher price later on. So keep that in mind, okay? Stop loss orders. Always use a stop loss order to limit your potential losses. For bullish breakouts, your stop loss should be placed below the broken resistance, right? For bearish breakouts, place it above the broken support, all right? Profit targets, much of the same thinking. If you're long, obviously it's a blue sky setup on Apple above 200. It's a blue sky setup on Nvidia above 1,000, so there's nothing to chart, but they're not all like that, right? So if you're long a stock through the break of a range, what is the next resistance level above the level that you got in at? You should be taking profits there. Conversely, if you got short, say the 165 breakdown on Apple, which we know has been a level going back to October, when you take that 165 breakdown short, where are you covering profits? You're going to have to chart. Where is the next support level on Apple below 165? You should be taking profits there. So that's a look there. And thank you again, Adara, for adding that bad boy on there. This is a bullish rectangle where you have your stop placed right below that, and there's your breakout level right there. And remember, guys, continuation breakouts are probabilities, not guarantees. Make sure you do your research and never invest more money than you can afford to lose. And I just want to, kind of compare continuation breakouts. Essentially, they can be valuable tools for identifying potential trend extensions. By understanding how they work, using confirmation techniques, and managing risk, you can become a more informed trader and trade these a little bit better. So yeah, give that a shot.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for going over that lesson there, Sharif. And I think one thing, too, I want to say with regards to, I just have, a real life example in the wild here of how things can break down at any moment, but also they can't. And this is kind of a weird analogy. I don't know how to do this transition. Let's talk about AMD, because this is an example of me, honestly psyching myself out of a trade. We did make about 10 pennies on this though, but the initial plan, we still would have been out of it, but we were trying to make like 30. Let me explain this. I got involved in this long here because look at how many times we failed to break below this 181 area. This line should be slightly higher, but yeah, look at this 181 area and how beautifully it holds, right? Like we have these continued wicks down into it, we test it, we hold it, we go back up. So that's why, in addition to the range here, and that was also why I wanted to get out at that 181.60, 181.70 area, is because we had a very clear, defined, and beautiful range on AMD. And then I get in, and we're taking our sweet time at 181.30. We're having a really hard time breaking above. We test. We do have this nice bounce off of that 181 area, which should have been a reason for me to stay, because my stop was gonna be if we broke below 181, but we really didn't. I ended up psyching myself out. I took 10 pennies, and the second I get out, this thing blasts about 50 pennies, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, even though I was discouraged, we were taking our time, I really should have been patient and stayed in because I had no reason to leave the trade. We didn't break below 181. So I know I sound like kind of, a little bamboozled here, but I really am. But as Sharif said, you're always going to be angry as a trader. I can't be too upset because I did make some profit on this, but more I'm just upset at myself because I didn't adhere to my own principles. Do you know what I mean? My principle said, Adara, you get out if it breaks below 181, and it never did. So why did I leave where I left? But that's okay. Where's the next trade, as Obi has been known to say? And honestly, I'm going to use this as a learning opportunity. AMD, you will not AM destroy me. I am the master of my own AM destiny. And I did psych myself out of this trade, but there's always going to be more opportunities on the horizon. And if we reject this 182.18, that means the range is still alive and well. I'm going to take her to the downside. But yeah, that's my only trade I've had this whole time. AMD and the emotional reckoning. That was AMD. Nvidia's getting, honestly, more and more rangy. I did take another 50 penny scalp off of this earlier at that 906.50 area. Part of me is tempted to get back in, but the other part of me is like Adara. Nvidia is literally dancing with danger. But if we stay below 907, I do think there's still some fun to be had in the short. Shout out to anybody who's involved in this name, because I think there are opportunities to go long here on some scalps as well. Not advice, just my take on this chart, but I do think the shorts seem to be winning out. We just did dip below, or dip above, sorry, that 90 MA. So could there be a turning here in NVDA? We'll have to wait and find out. But yeah, this is an interesting one. Microsoft, it looks like there could be some opportunities as well, range-wise. But yeah, AMD, trying not to get too hung up on that one, because we did win. We are just a little. Honestly, I'm less upset that I got less than I wanted to, and I'm more upset at myself for not sticking to my principles.
Yeah, I hear you.
There we go.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
Good. I'm looking. I just went over to talk to Obi about Amazon, and I was talking to Big Kyle about it as well in the chat. And the reason I was looking at Amazon at these levels is because we came into yesterday's closing print, and we started doing bottoming tail candles there, which means, typically means buyers like this level. And usually we have a lot of, not a lot. Sometimes we get support at the previous day's closing print. Hence why I chart it. But it's not, a line in the sand by any means. It's going to have to prove to me that it is going to be a level of support. Right now, it's dancing with it. The closing print on my chart is exactly 179.82. So we're right there. We're printing right there at the moment. It's going to, I personally would rather wait for it to hold that level, prove to me that it's holding that level, and then print and close above 180, which it hasn't done since, this candle over here. Well, this candle over here, actually. This one tanked. So keeping an eye on AMZN, not one that I typically trade all that often, but I like the levels for it today. Wow, Meta just keeps going down. Apple very much has become a range trade, a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below VWAP. And ever since around 11:45, so we're going on 45 minutes or so with that 171.18 or 20 to the top side, and essentially that 75 penny area, 170.75 to the downside. It hasn't decided what it wants to be when it grows up, as Adara likes to say sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been breaking above that level or breaking below. So Apple dead money on the day, and we often chuckle and call this one the dead one, and it's been doing that lately. Oh, who was messaging me? Brendo. Okay. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll keep looking. All right, let's see what else we got here on the future. Okay, so the future now coming down into that lower end of the range. So this is interesting. So you saw Adara take that fantastic trade on the TQQQs. It was, I think she took it short, but this is exactly kind of the same thing. We come into these levels, 18,479, thereabouts, and then we seem to find support at that 4 3/4 level, 400 3/4 point level. So we'll see whether or not we get a move right back up, but it's been super zigzaggy on the future on the day. Not really surprised by that, given that tomorrow's a holiday and we have an extended long weekend. Let's flip to Tesla. Let's see what Tesla is doing. It's putting in higher lows. That's what it's doing. So put 179.70 as the low, and then for whatever reason here, we defended 176 quite well, and we've been putting in higher lows and higher highs. That is, if we can break and hold above this 172.82. So not a bad look here on TSLA. Obviously sold off aggressively today, but yeah, keep your eye out for the weekend, I think, maybe, or even Monday, as Tesla will report deliveries for this past quarter. Let me just look at my blotter, see if I can tell you exactly when we are expected to deliver. Deliveries, let me type in deliveries. Oops, I typed it wrong. Yeah, okay, well, maybe I'll look at that a little bit later. But yeah, keep eye on Tesla here. It looks like it's, trending quite nicely off the bottom there, above $2.50 or $2 off that bottom on TSLA, so not a bad look, not a bad look. But yeah, what are you looking at over there?
Yeah, I'm back in AMD. We're gonna master our own AM destiny and take this bad boy short here, to use a Sharifism that is sometimes used here as well, taking this bad boy long or short. So yeah, like I said, this range was still valid, and I psyched myself out, but no more psyching myself out. Swiper, no swiping. Apparently we're quitting Dora the Explorer. But yeah, if I want to see what we do here at 182.20 is the earlier pop. If we get above that, I'm out. I have a profit taker set. 181.70. I have another profit taker set, 181.30 at the bottom of this range. I'm going to wait and see for a rejection of 181. If we get that rejection again, I will be going long. Just trying to take the bull by the horns. Shout out to the Breakfast Club, and just take advantage of these ranges as they pop in, because, and thank you for talking about that TQQ trade. I really appreciate it, because I think that was just an example too of having to be like, Adara, there's a range here. You like ranges. Trade the freaking range. And so, you know, just you know, the snapshot of my internal monologue there, but you seriously, in all seriousness, you do sometimes just have to take advantage of the opportunities, because if you don't, they'll just pass you by. And you know, as Eminem says, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime. And with trades, sometimes they'll come a little more frequently, but you know, you really want to make sure that if you see something you like, why aren't you taking it? And that's what I'm saying to myself, which is why I got into AMD. Nvidia's still really rangy though. I'm a little bit tempted to dance with the devil, whose name is NVDA. Someone in the chat was saying too, like, you know, like I guess asking about the scalping, like 50-cent moves and something like Nvidia. I think it's a valid point. I think it's something I'm trying to think about a lot too, especially as I do, you know, consider. Like I said, I'm trying to go live at some point soon, so I think trying to be cognizant of that as well. But the thing is, I think, honestly, having those 50-cent scalps does help kind of alleviate some of my stress as a trader. One of my biggest issues as a trader is I do, as evidenced by that AMD trade, I'll psych myself out and get out of stuff too early. So if my plan is to take it really, really small, I, A, feel like I'm able to negate some of the FOMO, and B, feel a little bit more in control. So I do need to obviously think, because I am still in the sim, think about how that translates with real money. But I think for right now, it's a strategy that I'm finding helpful.
I like that.
Thank you, Jonathan Canny, saying you would be a great freestyle rapper. I don't know about that, but I appreciate that right now. I also appreciate AMD dropping to the AM downside, so down. How are you with your?
Just got into the triple Qs as well. I'm sitting here as well on Amazon, waiting for a dip trade. I'm thinking, you know, I'm not going to chase Amazon at these levels. If it comes down into the bottom end of the range here, we'll look to get in on AMZN. I really am staring at this 179.82, which is the closing print for yesterday. I decided maybe it's not a good idea to chase this one through 180 in case there's a fake breakout here. So we'll keep eyes on that. We'll see what else. Flat right now on the T triple Qs, looking for maybe a move up back into 18.5. We've been ranging, like I said, on the future in between, let's just say 18.475 thereabouts and about 18.520. Oh, hello. Don't you have a segment to do?
Yeah,
Money talks.
Money has a mouth and it speaks. It's like an animated finger puppet named Money.
Oh my God.
I don't know. That was really bad. I was
All
put on the
good?
spot there.
No, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I mean not you. I feel like I put myself on the spot.
It's all good. Yeah, because that's your segment. That's why you obviously know.
Yeah.
That's why I did that. Apple's breaking out of the range for whatever reason, finally here. Have a look at this. We were talking about Apple, you know, being definitely stuck within that range, a little bit above VWAP, but a little bit below this, that, and the other. Now it's making its way into the 50 period. So it's above the volume weighted average price on two closing basis now. This candle and this candle. Now it's looking at taking that 171 and a third possibly here as it makes its way back up off the lows. All right, we're going to wet our beak here on some, oh, wow. I almost put double the shares again, Adara.
Oh,
like
no.
I did yesterday. Yeah, I was telling BPI and Raj and them today, yesterday that I put, or Raj, sorry. Jag, my bad, bro. My bad. I'm thinking of the Big Bang Theory.
He does watch it.
What's that?
I was going to say,
oh, that's
yeah,
right.
that's why, because he did.
Yeah, Uncle Roger sat there. Yeah, I actually forgot about that. I was telling them I put like double the amount of shares for NVDL today, so I had to make sure I got out of that real quick. But we'll have to wait and see. Sorry, Jag, my bad, brother. You know I know your name.
I'll meet you outside.
No, he's good like that. Not everybody's super sensitive. But yeah, anyway, so we'll see what we get here with these T triple Qs a day.
You know, this took me a second too, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, wait, is Raj back? Because Raj did used to sit there. And, you know, Raj and I would because I used to sit back there as well. So Raj would walk by and say hi and stuff like that. So I also, it took me like a couple seconds. I was like, But yeah, I know also too, in addition to the fact that Raj didn't used to sit there, Sharif does watch a lot of Big Bang Theory, so it's probably
My bad.
A mix there. But yeah, shout out to Jag and shout out to everybody in the back here. AMD, if you would like to, fill some shares here, that'd be great. We got a literal penny away from my out. I do want to scalp out some of this earlier than intended because look at this 9 EMA bounce, not something I want to deal with in my life. So we're going to have to change that a little bit. We're going to move this up a few pennies. I'm going to take out some of this early because I think we're trying to chop and turn for a move up. And as someone in a short, I do not like that, Sam. I am.
AMD's moving up. Sorry, Nvidia's moving up.
Nvidia's moving up. Okay, that's probably, Neil mentioned too, sometimes you have to use Nvidia as your future for these chip names. And this to me, like if my chip futures are moving up, it's a little bit dicey for someone in a chip short. So I think I probably need to make some decisions here. Because you're right, we're coiling up here now on NVDA.
Yeah.
It's a little move up here, so that's something I do need to be cognizant of. Also, Microsoft keeps doing its thing 21 to the downside. This kind of petering out here, almost a flat bottom, not a flat bottom break, but we certainly did have these kind of slightly lower highs with these giant candles. These are both bamboozling candles. You've talked about these big candles. There's something large range candles.
The range per candle.
Range per candle. Sorry, I was trying to think of the words for it. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, the range per candle on Microsoft, this is a 5-minute, is kind of a lot. 420 to 420.55. On a week basis, we get up to 420.80. So yeah, range per candle on Microsoft, a bit bamboozling. But if I want to range trade, there's maybe something there for me in MSFT. So I'm going to have to keep an eye, a close look on Mr. Softy. How are you doing there?
Yeah, still break even on this TQQQ trade as we kind of just move sideways a little bit here at the low end of the range. It's I don't want to call it predictable range because the second I say that, it's going to tank on me. But yeah, we'll wait and see what we get here. All right, I've got a beak weather sitting at the $0.75 area. If we can move somewhere in the 18,490s, I think it'll trigger. We'll wait and see here exactly what we get. But WBP saying sounds like a rune. I think what you're referring to is my propensity not to get short so I don't have to pay for shorts so that I don't have to use them. And that's what he would say all the time. And there's plenty that I try to take from a rune. The wick shimmy dance I've talked about, that was his explanation to me about that. It's not my own concoction. There's a lot of other stuff as well. He's one of the, the traders that I definitely want to base, sorry, 1 second, base some things around. And did I ever tell you about the Arun story? Okay, so I had never met him here. I would always see him doing the future on the show, right? And then I saw him at the gym. And I'm like, Arun? And he looked at me and he's like, who is this guy, right? I'm like, I'm such a big fan. I watch you every day on the show. I love the way you trade the futures, yada, yada. And then that's how we ended up being friends. And then I applied. I applied
really?
To be
I
here.
did not know this.
2 months later, I applied to come here. So Arun, I actually met outside of the show, of work. So that was yeah, it was interesting. Sorry, he was it was funny, like the way that him and I. He was just like, who is this stalker guy?
It's like destiny. Oh my God, that's so funny. that's really cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, shout out to him. He lives in my area. We're trying to go to the gym sometimes, but his schedule is a little bit different than mine. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Look at this Amazon hold. Beautiful area, the hold at the yesterday's closing print, man. I insisted on the dip trade, and yeah, that didn't pay off for me. Here comes 180. It's printing a little bit above 180 right now. Let's see. It got, I think, it's 180 and a quarter almost, right? So we'll see decent move here up for AMZN. I'm also seeing Apple curl up, Tesla's curling up. Even Nvidia trying to dance with that 908, it's still stuck in a range though. So we'll see if we get anything there. Nothing really triggering on the TQQQs, sadly, but we'll pack our patience to see if we can kind of hold this low end of the range. We haven't been above VWAP now for, I don't know, almost 45 minutes or so. So we'll see what we get here, Adair.
Yeah, there's honestly, I wish I could tell you guys that I've been looking at some stocks beyond staring at the AMD book like a slightly, upset individual. But no, I'm joking. I'm not upset. I am calm. I just, I'm staring at the book. And Neil said this before, and I need to not do this. He's like, like you always think if you stare at something, it'll make it move faster or in the direction you want. That's not the case. AMD also is behaving really well. So I don't know why I'm putting so much pressure on this little stock. We've been within my area of entry, within 10 pennies of my area of entry since I got into this trade. So I don't know why I'm acting like this is like the hill I need to die on. You know, we're not AM dying over here. So we're gonna leave her be. Because you know she needs some breathing room. She's not gonna run just like stare at her. You know what I mean? She's not, or I guess drop because I'm in a short. But yeah, Apple is curling up. Also, I saw this earlier. I forgot to say anything. We were talking about Apple being the dead one, and then Ponzi Fonzie goes R.I.P. Apple with a little tombstone emoji in the chat. So
yeah,
forgot to mention that earlier, but I really liked that. Yeah, Apple, this rounded bottom is really. You were at Apple earlier, right? In the long.
Was I?
I think you were. Because you were Tim Cooking.
Look at my blotter.
I think you were Tim Cooking.
Yes, I was. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm break even on it. Not positive on it though. Yeah.
But because I remember you were in it, I was like, oh yeah. But yeah, we're curling up. This is not something I have any vibes on though, so I'm going to leave that be. Is the SPY still rangy? Because I did have some meh trades on that earlier, but I'm always willing to redeem myself if the stock will let me into the ring. Now we're kind of sloping down there, so not anything I want to get involved with. Okay. Microsoft kind of rangy. Yeah, if anyone sees anything that's looking nice and interesting, definitely let me know. It's hard on this holiday Friday. They were saying that to Elon in the chat. It's with these holiday Fridays, there's a little bit less like pep in the step of the market. You know what I mean? So you have to like squint to find opportunities, and then you'll find like one or two. Right? Tesla though, if you want to reject here, it's a spicy short at this 177.80. Oof. I like this. Yeah. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I was looking at CERO, C-E-R-O, going here, guys. What a nice hold at the volume weighted average price. I was hesitant to trade this only because of the way that it was ranging and the spread was tight. The liquidity is not great on it, but you can't discount the fact that it's held every single VWAP dip. The white line on my chart is the volume weighted average price. You know, you didn't really have to give it too much room here in order to get that VWAP dip. I mean, this is probably the worst area you could have got in. Anywhere else, you didn't have to give it too much room. Here, you have to give it about 49 pennies. So you have to give it about 11 pennies, but that was just one-off area. Anyway, CERO doing well on the day, 65% of the good. Who can complain about that? So we'll see exactly what we get on that. Maybe we'll, I'm not inclined to try and take this trade. It's not to my liking. Anyway, keeping an eye on the TQQs here. I saw Tammy in the chat saying she was losing her patience with the TQQQ. Tammy, are you long or short? Also, where are you entering exactly? Are you trying to play the range? Are you trying to play the breakout? Let me know exactly what you're thinking there. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Big Kyle, roundy bottoms. Joker. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. I can't wait just to watch the Big Short on repeat all weekend. All right, sounds good, Kyle. I mean, whatever you got to do to keep yourself entertained. Shout out to Michael Burry.
Good movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I haven't watched it in a minute, though, I got to tell you the truth. So maybe it's worth a refresh. Yeah, definitely still hanging out at the bottom end of this range of data on the future, so nothing really to report there. Amazon continuing to go. 8.25 is where it's trading at right now. I'm really disappointed for myself for not having gotten into this. I went over, I talked to Obi. I should have been put in a dip trade before I did that. By the time I came back, it was already gone. Anyway, good look here on AMZN. Let's see if it can curl back into the volume weighted average price. Well, hold on. Last time it actually rejected off the 50. Let me just see quickly what we're doing with TQQs here. Nothing. Okay. Last time it just rejected off the 50-period moving average. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about there. Last time we moved into the 50-period, we rejected off quite aggressively. It was this area over here. It didn't quite make it up to VWAP, and then we've been putting in lower highs and lower lows since. So Amazon, to kind of continue with this uptrend, it's got to make a higher high, and I would suggest to you that's going to be a VWAP reclaim for that to happen. Tammy says she's long 61.62. Where are we at here? 61.62 on the triple Qs.
It rhymed.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got a great entry there, Tammy. Yeah, you're 4 pennies below me. You're chilling like a villain right here. I mean, I'd have my stop below the break of the low, so it's going to have to hold up on the end. Otherwise, we'll look to rinse and repeat on at a different price. But Yeah, I think you got a good price, Tammy. Just make sure that you've got the stop placement and everything's kosher there. The boring man, Sharif Adera, what an MSTR tank. Got in for a bounce at 1665 and managed to get out for 1770. What a good Friday. No pun intended there. Shout out to you, the boring man. I haven't had eyes on crypto all day since I turned back to the BPI. I was like, what is your girl Mara doing? And then he used an expletive that I can't say. But
I think I know.
Yeah. Shout out to BPI, Big Patty Ice back there. But let's look at MSTR.
There was a short report on this one.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, Carousel Capital.
Okay.
Also, the name of this short report, everyone always laughs because I get really into the name of the short reports. But it was, okay, this one was the, what do they call it? Okay, long BTC, short MicroStrategy, know when to HODL, know when to FODL. So it's a pun on know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Got it.
Which is just, I really like.
I like it.
Here we go. But yes, that's the short report on MSTR, which is that big move to the downside. Also, AMD bamboozling me once again. This time we had a legit reason to leave where we did because we did break above that 182.20 area. Again, probably a bit of a conservative stop. Then the girl drops 40 cents. MSTR.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, my bad. I didn't know you were setting me up there. My bad. Yeah, MSTR, Ram is doing a thing here. Tried to retrace back into the volume-weighted average price. Good for you for getting it like that, boring man. That's one hell of a trade. Let's go. So we're going to spend the money for the boring man. That is one gutsy trade there on a very expensive, very volatile name. This thing has dropped how many dollars in one day? So on MSTR today, we're down $204. So we're down 10 2/3%, completely counter market to actual crypto, to any of the mining. Put it back. No? Okay. Hey, Randy. Randy doing things, baby. He doesn't just deal with cars. Randy, are you a foodie? He is a foodie, confirmed. Shout out to Randy, baby. What are you eating up there? Is it the salad? Brisket. My man has got a brisket. Shout out to Randy. There he is. It's on the Katina Man's Twitter. Anybody wants to see it, it's on the Katina Man's Twitter.
Oh, did you guys go for the brisket? I guess so.
I guess they went for the brisket, yeah. Ram's just trolling him.
I like the reality TV style, like paparazzi shots of Sean there.
And the Chilean Nightmare is controlling that camera, by the way. This is great, eh? This is how it would be if we actually had a camera like that with a cameraman.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Start the podcast, baby. It's time for the podcast. I love working here, bro.
Yeah,
it's good times.
Oh, brisket.
Is that a brisket too, Katina Man? Yeah, man. Where's mine? Shout out to you, Sean. Enjoy, my friend.
Never a dull moment here.
What are you looking at over there?
Yeah, no, I honestly, shout out to anybody who had that AMD short. I got out too early, but at least this time, unlike where I psyched myself out this first time, I had a reason to leave. My reason to leave was we got above 182.20. Are my stops still too conservative? Probably, if I'm being really honest, but I can't get too upset. I tried to get back in at 182.10 area, and we weren't able to get back in. That's okay. Congrats to anybody killing this short. Couple people in the chat here getting excited about that one, so congrats to you. This is a really nice move to the downside here on AMD, as Sharif will sometimes call it. Speaking of AMD, let's look at his cousin. I'm joking, they're not at all related, but let's look at AMC. AMC with a $250 million offering, I believe. Yes. They said they entered an equity distribution agreement and may offer and sell from time to time Class A common stock of up to $250 million through an at-the-market program. So AMC is, it's a little sad. We do have that sort of double top here at 390, and then these lower, kind of lower highs, just kind of riding the 9 EMA. Almost 23 million shares, though, 22.7 million shares traded today. So lots of volume here in AMC, lots of attention here. But yeah, this nice little stutter step to the downside here. Not stutter step, mind you. We did have that massive drop at first, but I don't want to call it a bull flag or bear flag, but we did have that massive move down and then some consolidation. overall weak look here though on this stock. Nvidia moving pennies, AMD trying to bounce maybe. Oh, AMD is not an NY stock, so. But yeah, AMD, a little bit of a bounce off this VWAP, maybe. I'm not getting back involved in this. Brad Gober, I'm just going to take out some of these lines, there's just way too many. Brad Gober was saying earlier too, like, yeah, AMD's a really hard one. You have to time it perfectly. And yeah, AMD, I honestly find it better with this name if I just scalp it on like a 1 minute chart with like pennies. I think that's usually kind of the better look for me in AMD. So not something I should have tried. That's all good. Happy I didn't get involved in the Tesla short impetuously because Tesla continues to be struggling to maybe break above that 177.80. I love this as a double top, but Tesla was like, maybe I'm not a double top. I should have gotten in, maybe, you know, we did have that move down, so maybe it would have been a good short, but the reason I was hesitant to get in the short in the first place, which is what I need to remember, is look at this very bamboozling candle. When we go to the upside, sorry for yelling that, but it was very bamboozling. We dip into that 176.80 and then close at like 177.80. So to me, this $1 candle, it's, you know, it's not, the range per candle isn't bad because a lot of this is range per wick, but it still made me think there might still be some bullishness on the horizon in Tesla. It looks like we're trying to crack above 178. So I'll see here. I'm not against the idea of a Tesla short, but I'm also not like ever pro jumping into the Cybertruck without doing my due diligence, dotting my I's, crossing my T's, and checking in on my P's and Q's. So you have to do the whole alphabet before dancing with danger in that little Cybertruck. Yeah, AMD short is yeah, some people are saying AMD short's looking good. Yeah, sad I missed it, but I can't dwell on it. Where is the next trade?
Well said, well said. I was talking to Phil back there. I won't give his full nickname because, well, it's a PG show. Shout out to you, BPI. But anyway, he was telling me about his AMD trade, building on your point. He took it, it was zigzaggy for him. He tried to take it long, he chased it, tried to flip short, and then it ended up zigzagging him out. So we were just talking a little bit about that. He's
it's
telling
rangy.
me, yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, you love the range trades, but I think it's like the antithesis for a momentum trader because it keeps showing them things that they look for, but that don't manifest.
That's hard.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really tough to be like, oh, well, today's an absolute range day. I'm just going to range trade and shut off my brain for momentum trading. It's easy.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But anyway. I had to take out a piece here on TQQQs just because the range is getting a lot tighter, and I feel like, you know, we may be poised to break down here. So I took some out there just to de-risk, and then we'll see what's good. Now, let's go back to AMZN because I've been really looking to get a dip trade off yesterday's closing print, and we got awfully close there. We dipped into 179.90. I'm sitting at 179.82. So, you know, I guess not never, but I've triggered dip trades before, but not yet anyway. So we'll see what we get on AMZN. I'm looking to defend yesterday's closing print. It defended quite nicely earlier. There were a lot of bottoming tail candles showing buyer interest at that level. That's kind of the jam there. We'll look to play the range, if any. Now, Apple, we talked about Apple reclaiming the volume weighted average price, and it looked like, you know, it was going to print new highs. Then it encountered a line known as the 50-period exponential moving average, and now it is having trouble breaking through the 50-period. So, you know, eyes on Apple here, especially if we break through the 50-period, then I don't want to say it's a blue sky setup, but the next area of resistance is either this 200-period here on the 5 or the bottom end of the range, consolidation range in the pre, and that's at 172 1/3. We're printing 171 1/4. So if we break and hold above the 50, this could be an interesting Apple long. I'm really surprised that we're even talking about Apple long on the day, given, you know, what's happened to this stock lately. It's being sued by everybody. Yeah. Everybody wants to get a piece. Right? You know what I mean? Like the European Union, the Department of Justice. Who knows? Maybe Egypt will get in on the action and start suing Apple. I have no idea. Right?
That's so random.
Yeah, I don't know. Why not? Why
but
stop
right.
there? Right?
You have no idea. You really don't know. It really could happen,
right? Everybody, well, let's be real about it. I mean, a lot of these governments are strapped for cash. They spend a lot during COVID. They need to recoup that, whether in the form of tax or what have you. Fines. It doesn't really make a difference. All right, we're coming into the lower end of the range here on the future, so my eyes are fixated on this level on the TQQs. This is exactly why I got some out, because I was worried you were at the lower end of the range for far too long here. Let's see if we can make a recoup.
Yeah, I also am noticing the Fuge doing things trademark. So I want to see if we can get out. I'm joking, it's not trademarked. I'm saying weird things. If we can take 30 pennies on Tesla, I'd be pleased as punch. Really happy that I just took the move here. Like I said, I didn't want to be too impetuous, but at a certain time, you have to get involved if you see something you like. We're really struggling with this 90 EMA though. Initially wanted to get out 177.41. We couldn't. We're going to switch to like mid 40s. I think that might be a better area. Also now with you saying like, you know, everyone wants a piece of Apple, I weirdly have Britney Spears' Piece of Me in my head, which is the song that Apple is definitely singing. I feel like I missed something.
People in the chat like, I'm suing next.
Oh,
I'm coming for more money. Like, yo, Apple's giving it out. Apple's doling it out on
they're
next,
like, we'll take some, yeah.
I love it.
Everyone wants, you know, some of what Tim's cooking. They all want some of Tim's cooking. But yeah, so shout out to Randy and Sean with the actual cooking with their briskets. They did go. Sean was talking earlier yesterday about Randy and brisket.
Yes.
And now Randy and brisket and Sean have all come together to be, you know, nice dynamic trio there, terrific trio. But yeah, Tesla, if you want to get back down to 40s, I'd be pleased as punch. And we could be punching out then, that would also be nice. Let me see here some other comments in, see what else everybody's seeing here. But yeah, GME long says Sandy Beach. I'll look at this one. Also, shout out to Sandy Beach, Joanna Brewster, everybody else in the chat, short AMD. You guys are in the dollar club for that one if you got involved in that 182. Congrats to you. So, okay, see what you mean on GME long, Sandy, because this is 1, 2, 3 5-minute candles of upside. I would be cautious though. This one, you know, super down on the day, and the short float on this is pretty significant. GME is kind of known for its short squeezes, so I would be very cognizant of what we do here. That being said, areas that I would be looking out for potential resistance. And again, not advice, just me looking at a chart. 1270, we had this little baby curl earlier, baby pause in the move down. That could be an area. That 1275 was a very weird flat little bottom, tried to curl back up. With that in mind too, you have 1285 and then 13. So always kind of looking at any areas. We had little pauses in the movement down and say, hey, you know, like where could be some areas, because support can become resistance. Okay. So all these support areas I would be looking at for potential resistance on the move to the upside for GME. Tesla is still kind of doing nothing, which, you know, Tesla, if you want to
I think it's curling down. I think you have a great level there.
Thank you.
This 178-ish level. It's an area that would obviously had trouble with before. All right, that's it. I'm going to get out of this futures trade. So I had a little bit left there. We'll look to get in if it comes back into that range. It's actually a profitable trade. Okay, not bad. Now what I'm looking at is CERO. So I put in a dip trade here at that 285 level on CERO. It is the 10-period moving average, but it also happens to conflate with this level over here, which we have, you know, a crest on. So this is an area, previous area of resistance. If we come back, I'd like a dip trade at these levels. So we'll have to wait and see if it makes its way back below 3. It's above 3 now, man. 88% to the good. Great look right now on CERO. So we'll keep eyes on that, but it's going away from 3. It's like up to 310. It's going to have to retrace a bit more aggressively. This is what I'm looking at the 5. This is the one over here.
Oh, that's nice.
This is what I'm looking at. This is the dip trade right there at the 10-period moving average. But I figured, you know, by the time it makes its way down there, this line will be a little bit higher. So that's why I put it there. But it also happens to have some confluence with this level over here. So we'll see if we get filled at 285. What else we got going on? Small cap gapper is not really doing much here. NQES. Oh, that's interesting. We are at, the ES is closing print yesterday. We haven't traded the ES in a really long time, but we are at the closing print right now on the ES. So, yeah, we'll see if we get a range there. Wow, CERO's going there, 316. It's really leaving me behind here. That's fine. We'll check to see what's going on. Yeah, I don't really have anything else at the moment, but yeah. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, NVIDIA, these wicks here really did mess up my lines. I'm going to have to delete all these lines I drew in NVIDIA. I have a habit, I like drawing my micro ranges, is what I call them. And I think it comes from someone in the chat once asking, like, how was the micro range trading going? And then I was kind of like, you know what, I'm going to reclaim them. I'm going to call them my micro ranges. But yeah, so my micro ranges have gotten a little bit, strewn up here, so I'm gonna have to fix these, but we're still seeing that 907 rejection on Nvidia. That's the rejection I like. That's the area I've been kind of looking at all day. We did have this, I think this is like a $3 winner in the sim earlier today. With the bulk of the position, not all of it, but we did keep some piece through the dream there at 9, basically took it 908 to 905s, but I initially entered the position around 907.20s, right? So to me, that's an area I like. It's a friendly, familiar area, but beyond that, it just really is proving itself, so why not? I did get out of Tesla. Tesla's bouncing back up. I was talking to Patrick Langlois about this. There's definitely people fighting on both sides, longs and shorts here, doing put their dukes up, getting into a battle here at Tesla. Tesla, look at these struggles with Tesla and VWAP. We've had so many these wicks now into VWAP where the sellers are losing. They're taking the L because the buyers are like, nah, right at VWAP. Still happy with this. This is about a 30-penny scalp. I'm not going to be upset about this. You know what I mean? You have to take the W's. And I think my biggest issues are when I overstay my welcome in trades. That Nvidia, I wasn't there a little bit longer, but I was like staring at the tape until my eyes bled before getting into that, right? It's a bit of a weird analogy. But I was really like focused on the tape there, right? So I was okay staying that a little bit longer, but I mean, with this Tesla, I was pleased as punch to get my 30 cents. AMD, the biggest issue here is me working on my stop losses. If I had said this, like we literally got out top wick, and then she goes floosh to the downside. Whoosh. So yeah, floosh. I don't know. But yeah, so I really need to work on having less conservative stops. Because even if I'd given it to this previous, I don't want to say shoulder, but that previous pop into 182.35, I would have been fine. So there we go. I need to stop using arbitrary levels and use levels that make sense. We all need to be eating brisket.
Honestly.
With Sean and Randy. Sean looks like he's in heaven with his brisket, and Randy is also too much brisket.
Really?
Oh, he's getting tired. This is what I love being here. We always have we always have a great time, always learning, loving, living here. But also, speaking of learning, we have a lesson.
Oh.
So.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. So, well, Randy and Sean ate. We have Sharif and Hut ate, and I will be giving our last lesson of the day. Yeah, that wasn't. I wanted to say it.
All good.
I'm just gonna get the pun in there. But let's talk about understanding continuation breaks. So imagine you're driving down a highway, another fun driving related analogy here in these lessons. You're driving down a highway, and then sometimes you have to hit a rest stop to catch your breath. But then you're right back down the road, continuing your journey. You're down the road. So this is kind of similar to continuation breakouts in trading. So we're going to talk about how these breakouts can help identify when a prevailing trend might pick up steam after a brief pause. The trend is your friend, sometimes. So technical analysis will rely really heavily on trends, which are sustained movements in prices, but trends don't always go in a straight line. Sometimes the market will enter a consolidation period where it gets a little rangy, chop and churnish. And that's when the price will move sideways within a defined range, and that's where continuation breakouts say, hey, look at me. That's where they come into play. The power of continuation breakouts is worth talking about. A continuation breakout is going to happen when you have a decisive break out of a consolidation pattern in the direction of the prevailing trend. Here's the breakdown of breakouts. Upward trends are going to be happening when you have this uptrend, a period of consolidation, and then a breakout above the resistance level of the consolidation. That just basically means you're going to have a potential continuation of the uptrend. Downtrend breakout, the exact opposite. You have a downtrend, then you have some consolidation, then we have a break to the downside through support, which indicates that sellers are regaining strength and there could be a little bit more oomph in the downtrend. Here's an example of an uptrend. We have that uptrend, some consolidation, and then we break out above. Then here's a nice example of a downtrend. This is actually USD JPY, so you could also do this with Forex, I guess. You have that downtrend, then we have some chop and churn. We break decisively below that 91.25 area, swoop to the downside, the continuation, breakout, and the downtrend does keep going on. But not every pause means a change. Continuation breaks can be powerful, but it's important to remember that not all continuations lead, or not all consolidations lead to continuations. Here's how you can help be a more discerning trader, right? Because you can look for your volume confirmation. Look for a surge in trading volume alongside the breakout, because high volume suggests more conviction behind the price, which suggests the likelihood of a true continuation, or at least that we have a lot of interest at that level. Time frame also matters. the longer the consolidation period, the stronger the breakout could be. And Sharif's talked about this as well. The more tests you have of a level before you break out above it suggests you could have a little bit more pep in your step when you do have that breakout. Look at this. This one, you have 1, 2, 3 touches of that 30,000 area on BTC USD. Remember the good old days? No, I'm joking. But yeah, we're well above 30,000 now on BTC, but it pops above. And now it has that viciousness that it can kind of continue its move, right? So, and it does so with this massive volume. Look at this, the range on this candle with that strong volume. That's just, hey, we're here to stay. Capitalize, capitalizing on the move is also really important. Once you have that, yeah, we're here to stay. Once you have that confirmed continuation breakout, here's some steps for entering and exiting your trades. Some traders are going to want to enter right after the breakout. And others are going to wait for a pullback where the price will briefly revisit the broken level before continuing its move. So this is going to offer a lower entry point, but it does come with the risk of missing the opportunity. Stop loss order is also really important. You might want to put these below your trend line if you're going to be bullish, or above the trend line if you're bearish. Again, use your own stop loss. You know, you're going to want to come up with your own strategy, but here's just some tips, right, to kind of make sure you're mitigating your losses and maximizing your gains, which is what we want over here. Taking profits wisely is also really important. You want to make sure you're looking for those support and resistance zones based on the prevailing trend to clinch some profits. Here's one example too that I found here that I liked, because it kind of shows some potential areas that you might want to be setting profit takers or peak winners. So you look for that low. That's going to be your low area. Then you have this rectangle. Maybe if you're trying to go on here, your stop is going to be a break below this earlier low. Then you have your breakout, and that's, you know, where you might want to have some entries and profit takers. So it's all planned and all figured out there, which I think is very cool.
Yeah, that's,
that's the last slide. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got bamboozling myself. But yeah, you also want to remember that continuation breakouts are probabilities and not guarantees. You'll always want to do your due diligence and your research to manage risk effectively, and never invest more than you can afford to lose. We're getting the old man finger back out again. Also, you might want to combine continuation breakouts with other technical indicators like trend lines or moving averages to confirm the prevailing trend and strengthen your trading strategy, like the youth at Sharif's gym are trying to strengthen their arms.
Yeah, you know, they're more than welcome to do what, you know, ever exercise they want, as long as it's just keep it quiet a little bit, bro. They do already film TikToks, Ram. You're gonna come. Oh no. No, you can't do that. That's not good, Ram. All right, we're long 0301. We got some out already at 311. I was sitting there as a dip trade to defend that 3, but I still like that 285 level. I've got negligible amount left on this trade, so I'm just gonna let it hang as it is. I had a really good trade already on HUD 8, but it's coming right back into my level. I just want to see. I'm gonna leave it a little bit here. I just want to see if it's gonna defend the volume weighted average price. We're at that VWAP. I already have my stop below 55. Again, tiny little piece here left. It was more like I was going to add to this trade rather than take it out if it breaks that area, because again, it could be multiple touches at the volume weighted average price. But if it breaks 55, that's where we have the double bottom over here and over here. And I'll just end the trade there. I can use the flat key. So we'll keep eyes on that. All right, so Zero didn't come in my 285, so I'm holding a negligible amount here as it makes its way back into 310, but that's not the trade that I need to concern myself with at the moment. You need to keep eyes on HUT. And this one, yeah, okay, so it's holding above that 1155 area or so. It did make its way up almost into 80s. It got the 777s there. We're along 65. So if it breaks below 55, that's the end of the trade. But it's putting it's putting in some lows here. So now I'm seeing 55s coming in on the bid. I need to see 55s on the ask, and then I'll look to get out of this trade. Again, very, very small amount. Already took the majority of it out. So this piece here was more like, let's keep it to add to it type thing. All right, there it is. We'll flatten out that trade. Now let's focus on CERO. This one now doing the dance in front of 3, got a little bit above 3, got the 3 1/4, and so I set up my trade at 301 because it didn't look like it was going to come into that 285 area. So that was my thinking. I'm like, look, you know, there's a whole dollar in front of $3. Maybe you can scalp something off that, and then if it breaks down below 3. Love him. He's having a good old time. All right, let's go back and talk about this because we did break below 3 on CER. You were pretending? I thought you were actually out, bro. Oh, come on, bro. I thought you were resting a little bit, man. I got bamboozled here. No sleep for the weary on the floor, baby. Guys, the spread on CERO is opening up. It was like 1 or 2 pennies. Now it's 4 pennies on a $3 name. That is not what you want to see. So the liquidity, a little suspect on this one, but I still like my dip trade at 285. I'm leaving it there. I'd rather take a dip trade with full size and, you know, nurse this with the tiny amount that I have left currently. Let's look at some Mag 7 names now. We haven't been looking at them for a little bit. We've been focusing on the small caps, and that's all good. All right, what do we got? Do we get that Amazon dip trade? No, not yet. So let's flip back to AMZN here because that AMZN trade is still valid in my opinion. I think I'm just a little too aggressive though with my dip trade because we're putting in higher lows. Like I'm fixated at getting it at 179.82 because that's a closing print. But right now, you know, we're interesting. Maybe this trade is no longer valid because we're making lower lows on the future. Maybe I need to be careful with this Amazon trade here and what I want to get filled or not. So I'm sitting still at the 179.82 area, but I'm starting to wonder if this is the right level to get in. Maybe I should allow it to come into that level without getting filled, watch for a defend of the level, and then get in a little bit higher, maybe in that 180s or so. So I'm just thinking out loud here, guys, but you know, I feel like I missed the best trade on Amazon, which was that initial dip into the closing range. So I'm going to leave it be for now, and then we'll figure out and see what happens. Still doing the dance here with CERO at the whole dollar at 3. It hasn't made its way down at all into the 80s or even low 90s to get that dip trade fill to defend this crest over here. That's a previous area of resistance. So we'll continue to watch that. What are people in the chat talking about? I like that. Great work, guys. Adara Sharif. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Elon, hi, Sharif. T on the tear. Nice swing for you, as I know you like swinging. Come on. Was that loaded, or do you actually mean swing trade there? Let's load up AT&T. I haven't had a look at T in a while. Okay.
What's the T on T?
Yeah. There you go. This is why you're good at what you do, Adara.
Thank you.
Like, look at this. You know, it's not the range that we like as a momentum trader, and you can tell it's very sparsely traded. But let me look at the daily because you said something about a swing. Yeah, you know, off those July bottoms quite well. But yeah, AT&T is one of those ones where, you know, they just spend a lot of money, and yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Look, I'll have a look at that later. Thank you for pointing that out. Elon, Kyle Burdett, that is the kind of stuff we want to see. Hilarious. I think everyone's talking about the Katina man. Colin, Clock, and Tax. I like Adobe long here. Let's have a look at Adobe. Why not? It's ADBE, and we'll flip to the 5 on Adobe. All right, so you like it. Okay, so it is curling. Okay, I see what you're doing here. You're getting it off 500. That's exactly what you're doing. Let me know if I'm accurate on that, but that's kind of why I see you're in this. It dips down 525 exactly to be 26, and now it's curling up $1.50 off the lows. Well, $1.25 off the lows. It's retaken the 10 EMA on a closing basis, and now we're working on the second candle. You're going to be really light on volume on Adobe, kind of goes without saying. But yeah, this is a counter trend trade. It's not a bad look though. I got to tell you, call it.
Coin?
Yeah, Coin, Clock, and Tax. I called him Colin. I'm sorry, I misread that. The point is though, it's a counter trend trade, but I think you're getting it off a key level, that 500, the whole dollar, that $100 level, I should say, sorry. So I think it is a sound strategy there with a good defend, and you don't have to give it too much room. Really, just give it a little bit below 5. So yeah, maybe we'll look at Adobe. Good look here. Roland Joe got faked out. I'm not sure on what you're talking about, Roland. Let me know. What else is below Roland? Adobe, okay, he already said that. Day Trader Cut, what up, my man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. I'm finally able to donate again. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for resolving everything. The world's greatest moderator is not just here to look pretty and to, occasionally drop a hotline in the chat. This man absolutely kills it. He's the best around, and we couldn't be happier to have him as part of our team. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Appreciate everything you do, because I know you say that to me, but I don't say it back to you enough. So I want to say that to you live in front of everybody. Thank you for doing all that you do, my man. What's going on over there on your side of the screen, Adara? I see triangles. There is
a triangle. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Bears versus Bulls. Honestly, always killing it. We really are so grateful for everything there, and because moderation is very important. You have to do everything in moderation, but also we need moderators to do everything. So so very appreciative there. Also, the SPY. I like this short here. I got involved. I should have probably waited for another test of that 523.17, but I like this. And shout out to Kyle Burdett here for pointing this one out to me. This previous close here, 523.17, right? So I think this is clearly a key area. We dipped into that, below that 523 area. If we dip back below 523, I'm going to take out some profit here. I have a hardy enough position that I feel comfortable depositing the shares there. So I like this. I'm pretty happy with this, I have to say, as long as we kind of stay, and I'm trying to use these levels a little bit more like on the book than what I see in the chart with the ETFs. I'm not always successful at that, mind you, but that's something I'm trying to do. So I would like to see that VWAP projection. That would make me pleased as punch, but also I'm trying to be less reliant on it, because ETFs are going to do what ETFs want to do. We did just break above that area, so we're going to be watching the tape to see what kind of vigor we get that move up, but I did like that nice little flush there on the tape. That makes me happy. So happy with that. Shout out to Kyle killing it on that short, I am sure. Also, Tesla. Let's see. I am in Tesla. I'm back in the Cybertruck, and I'm really happy with this. Initially, I think the Adara of a couple months ago, not saying that I've improved that much, but the Adara a couple of months ago would have absolutely panicked and then moved down to VWAP. This Adara sees the bounce and adds some shares.
Nice,
so,
Adara.
Thank you. I was pleased as punch. I was pretty proud. If Tesla wants to stay above that 90 MA, that'd make me even happier. But this is just a range play. I don't really know if we're going to get back above that 177.80, but I'm going to take everything out. Let's do 75, 76. Let's do 76. What's life without whimsy? 1 cent is whimsy in my books. So there we go. SPY dropping back low, 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 low. So that would make me pretty happy here. I like that we're both in one long and one short.
Yeah.
I like it. We're living the fast life over here.
All right, I'm taking profits here at 0 at these highs. I'm happy with this trade. I didn't get the dip trade that I wanted at 85s, but it makes its way up into that $0.25. Now I have to worry about this AMZN trade. It looks like it's rejecting off the 10-period moving average. I tried to go long 180, but I saw a lot of selling coming in, so I like the short here, possibly as it curls back down. I could be a little bit late to the party. So I am a little bit worried about that. I'm going to give it to the top end of this candle, so I will give it to 180.11. So we'll see what we get on AMZN, but I'm really happy with this trade on CERO, especially because I was really hesitant to get into it. Again, obviously, you're always going to be mad as a trader. Just broke through the high again, got to 3 1/3 now. But the whole idea here was, to get a little bit more size at that 285, it just wouldn't give me that move back down. So we'll have to make do with what we can get. But good trade on CERO, now up over 100%. Wowzers. This one continues to pump to the high side. Taking a couple of beak wetters there. The first at 11, the second at $0.25. But now we're going to have to keep eyes on this AMZN trade. Because it is doing the dance here with the whole dollar level. Adara.
Ooh, Adara. I like that. Sharif.
Sorry.
Sharif the No, I like it. I'm just trying to say Sharif the sheriff.
Yeah, baby.
You're going to be the sheriff of the safari soon.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm so excited for Sharif and his safari. And also I'm very, congrats on that CERO trade from zero to hero. But yeah, so nice look on that. We're going to try to get some out here. If we break below the 523 area, that will be a profit-taking area. Yeah, I was just talking to Kyle as well here, who's been scalping this one all day on the SPY, so nice look there. But also, he was saying that, like he said, good job identifying where entry point could have been better. And I appreciate that, because it's one of the biggest things I've been trying to do is work on my entry points. I am aware that my entries leave like so much to be desired. And I'm still not going to get perfect, but I think working and being open and having, you know, these areas to reload just embedded into my plan has been really helpful. And that's why, you know, to flash to a trade from earlier, I was really proud of this Nvidia trade because I got involved here. My initial entry point wasn't great. We did get involved initially. Sorry, these dark pool wicks here. We got here at like that 907.20 area. That was my initial point of entry here, right? Then I was like, you know what? As long as we stay below 909, we're all good. Let's have something ready to go to add to the position at 908. So we didn't immediately set it, but we didn't break above 908. So I was happy to stay there. And then we dipped below, and it ended up working out, and I was pleased as punch. You know what I mean? So I think the point is, in kind of a, I guess, not super direct, kind of roundabout way, is that I'm trying to have areas where I can like build on the trades, right? You have your initial entry point, but you have room to grow and room to improve from there. And so the SPY entry wasn't great, but you know, it's just kind of about staying with it. We're not above it. We're basically at my point of entry. So I can't complain, but it would have been better had I been a bit more patient and waited for that nice drop. Also, Tesla's still dancing at VWAP. I have no reason to leave unless we have a decisive break below VWAP, because look at all of these wicks down into VWAP. VWAP and Tesla are besties right now. They're BFFs less. So I think that's not something I want to mess with. We are looking like we're going to test my patience there and break below VWAP, which is not anything I want any part of. So we're going to have to see what Tesla does here. I am happy I added, though, on that initial bounce. And my initial entry point wasn't really good enough. Like if I had gotten in just on that VWAP bounce, we probably would have had 50 pennies. That's okay. I can't dwell on what I could have done, coulda, woulda, shoulda. All I can do is dwell on the trade that I had. Some AMDs mentioned here. Joe Schmo saying AMD is a great trading stock. It is. My timing on this left a lot to be desired. I psyched myself out here and got out too early before that nice little long here in the range. Then the short, I had a stop set way too conservatively. And so I missed that beautiful move down and got out a cool top wick on the short. But, you know, what are these if not learning opportunities? That's what I'm going to say here. Sandy Beach saying long AMD. I see what you mean. We do have these slightly higher highs on the 5 minute, and there's certainly a bit of a range here at that 108, 180.50. So best of luck to you there, Sandy Beach, which sounds like a really great place to go on a vacation. Mm-hmm. Sandy Beach on this long weekend. But yeah, I mean, I happy with these trades, though I think I might have to hop out of the Cybertruck like a Jason Bourne movie over here, because I'm not loving what I'm not loving. She's tossing me around a little bit. The turbulence in this car is a little bit much, so I think I'm going to have to say bye-bye to the Cybertruck, but not bye-bye to the SPY just yet. Sharif is singing a song, so it sounds like Amazon's going well.
No, it's okay. No, it's actually not. I was singing Bye-Bye Miss American Pie. But,
that makes more sense.
Whatever.
Bye-bye.
Amazon is starting to put higher highs. So if it breaks up a little bit more, we're going to get out of that one. Keeping eyes on Tesla as it's now making its way back down into the volume weighted average price, looking for a possible dip off here. But we're going to have to get out of Amazon here as it's just awfully strong. So maybe the initial idea was right, was to go long. So we'll keep eyes on that. And what else we got over here? Not much going on. Not much for me. So, you know, keep looking. What else we got? What else we got? Let's see if TSLA comes into that 177 again. Let's pull it up over here. All right, let's zoom out a little bit and bring in the side chart. Yeah, so 171. Sorry, I said 177. 171 coming in and breaking down now below the volume weighted average price. Not a definable level for me to get long or short in here, but you do have this obvious higher low, higher low, higher low. But I think we need to retrace maybe a little bit more before we get involved in that. I really don't have anything else. Meta's curling back up now. Okay, so this is interesting. Now you're getting Amazon and Meta both curling up. You got Apple still looking short at this level. Tesla looking short a little bit. Google also putting a bit of a top here at, say, 150.75. So there is that. There's not much else for me to trade at these levels on the day. I feel like this Meta trade might be interesting here, curling possibly into that 488.5 or thereabouts. It just broke through. Let me pull up Meta. It just broke through the 20 period moving average, so that could be interesting here. on a closing basis, except, oh, wow, these are wicks. I'll have to adjust these wicks. Obviously, it's on the current candle. But yeah, interesting look here on META. Now, if it rejects off the 20 period, that could be an interesting short down, maybe into 485. The future still headed back down at 18460. I think Dan was saying something about, what was Dan saying? I think he was talking about his levels there on the future. Let me go back and see if I can find it here. Yeah, Dan, I'm still looking for NQ 18540 today. So, wow. Plus. So he's looking for a move back above the high of days because the IB high right now is 18538. So that could be a really good look here for whoever gets involved in that. All right, let's see if we're going to go along meta here. Let's give this one a try.
Yeah, Meta's interesting. When I initially got in, I was trying to take that short at that break of VWAP, but I was not able to get filled. It went to the downside. Certainly that was a nice short though, and I think that long is a beauteous look there. So happy trading. I don't want to say good luck because it's not luck, but I will say happy trading. On that, I did take out a very specific amount. We took slightly more than half. What did we do? Like we took out like 3/5 of the SPY position. I want to add a little bit more if we get back into 523.20s, but I took out as we got into that 523 area. I'm really happy with this trade. I'm happy I decided to take it. And again, shout out to Kyle Burdett for helping me out with the levels on this, because this is not something I know a lot about trading, but one thing I've been watching too is these volume spikes, right? So when you have those volume candles to the downside. So I'm happy with this trade. We just broke into the downside on the SPY. I'm going to save a piece for the dream. Let's see what we do at 523. If we keep breaking down, I will stick around in the SPY. So let's see what happens here. PLTR 23 break, says D-Loaf. Also shout out to D-Loaf for asking some questions in the chat for the podcast yesterday. I don't know what the questions were asked or not because I was not here when we filmed it, but we'll all find out on Saturday at 10 a.m. or whenever you want to listen or watch to the podcast. Because we do have our podcast coming out. First guest ever on the pod, Kunal Desai, coming out as well and dropping some hot lines. So check that out. Yeah, this Palantir is just like a heat-seeking missile to the downside. We have these continued lower lows. This one going to downgrade from Crespi, Moness, and Hart. So they're like, gotta give these ones a downgrade to the downside. Palantir down about 6%, and they actually also announced a contract. So initially they were moving up a little bit on the contract, and then that downgrade came in, and I was like, what happened to Palantir? Yeah, that happened to Palantir. Crespi, Moness, and Hart happened to Palantir. So a little bit of a continued roller coaster to the downside here, rejecting off that 9 EMA. Thank you for pointing that one out, D-Loaf. Where is Mara going, says Aaron Scott Matthews. I don't know if Mara even ever knows. Mara really does listen to her mother Bitcoin. We talked about mother market, although we got that from a trader as well, but I think Mara listens to mother Bitcoin. However, look at this this is a really bamboozling area for Mara. Say what you will about levels, and I say what you will because I often say what I will about levels on crypto stocks, is that I kind of am often skeptical. But honestly, look at this. We had this earlier kind of pseudo doji here at 2283. Look where we start chopping and churning and curling here on Mara. Same level. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or what, but sometimes in trading there's maybe not coincidence. There's just like interesting areas. So I think that it's the level I would watch. I want to see what we do with the 9 EMA, but also I say that knowing that levels like 9 EMAs are often going to be a little bit more tricky or a little bit harder to follow there for Mara. Also, someone bringing up Microsoft, which is maybe the most fascinating stock of the day. And by that, I mean, it is so range bound, it's not even honestly tradable. And I say that as someone who likes ranges. And I mean, if you're able to trade Microsoft, honestly, seriously, congrats to you, because I feel like this one is so bamboozling. I got involved in this earlier because we held that VWAP area so well, lost about 20 pennies, no big deal. We fall to the downside after continuing to consolidate in that range for another hour. Then we fall below VWAP, and then we have some more consolidation for a half an hour, drop lower, then come back. We really like this 420 area. Shout out to 420 Bud Monster in the chat. I think that this this Microsoft chart for me is just very much, we usually call Apple the dead one, but I don't think that'd be fair to Microsoft today if we didn't call Microsoft the dead one. So Microsoft hitting the snooze button a little early for this long weekend. I see you are in a long, speaking of long.
Yeah, looking at Meta, looking for that curl back up. It seems the most directional of the bunch right now, whether we get a print on it or not. I haven't put in any entries. Already got caught up a little bit on it, getting in, getting out. So we'll see what this one does. But it looks like it has the most intentions of the Mag 7s to move to the high side. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not. A lot of bottoming tail candles coming in right now on the future at this, let's just say it's the 18.4.5 level or thereabouts. So interesting look here. Let's look to take some profits on META. I'm going to sit at 43s over here. We'll see if we get that print. Moving up, what are we showing here? So Meta obviously a little bit spready, right? We're showing 41s on the ask, but 33s on the bid. So it's got to cross in order to get filled. But this is what I'm talking about here on the future. All right, nice. We got the fill there. But this is, I don't know what you feel about this, Dan, because Dan is looking at a move all the way into the highs. Right? So I love that ambition, Dan, no question about it. But my question to you is, how do you feel about all these candles over here coming in and getting bought up, especially with the IB low being right at this level? Because I know you chart the IB lows and highs, and well, we keep getting into these levels and we keep getting these bottoming tail candles showing what I would interpret as, buyer enthusiasm. So we'll see, let me know exactly what you think there. Meta back into 487 after getting the print there at the $0.50. A bit of a topping tail candle at the moment. I don't have much size left, so I can let this one kind of go and float and see wherever it ends up. Maybe we'll take the print at 488. I see the volume weighted average price at 488 1/3. So that's not beyond the realm of possibility here. If it continues to curl up in the manner that it's doing at the moment, excuse me. I don't think I've ever seen such a consolidative range on Nvidia. What are your thoughts on this?
I love this.
This is super tight for a stock that is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Look at this. I mean, the lower highs are coming into play big time over here, but so are the higher lows, right? So it's like the most pointy flag ever.
Oh, the pointy flag.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at this. It literally is ranging tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. I don't know which one this is gonna like pop to whichever side here. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, so we'll look for the continuation up there. You guys are so jokes. Back there.
I don't even know what's happening back there.
Yeah, well, I do, but it's all good. Anyway, what are you looking over there?
Yeah, it's all good, baby. Shout out to the notorious B.I.G. And I mean, honestly, this Nvidia is such a juicy look here. That was a pun. But yeah, I've been looking at this. Someone else was telling me, who was it telling me this was a bit of a bull flag or bull pennant forming on Nvidia? Future Eddie was saying this. Yeah, I think I do see what you mean, because Sharif is right. We have lower highs, lower lows, but Nvidia consistently working within this 907, 905 range. So you know what? I'm going to get involved. Enough talking. More action here. Adara, talking to myself, apparently. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. If we break decisively out of this range, I have a clear way to exit, and I've been watching this tape like a hawk, so I'll know if we break out of the range, right? And it looks like I might have set my area of entry a little bit too ambitiously at 906.75. We'll see. I don't want to chase Nvidia. You don't want to go chasing waterfalls, but especially you do not want to chase a stock that moves like the monster that is Nvidia. Also, thank you very much to Hayden Ponish for the kind words. Really appreciate the shout out there. Shout out to everybody here who comes and watches and engages. This is, always so fun to be here. We're always just happy to be here. And I appreciate that. Hayden Ponish, I'm sure you will get asking for some more puns before the end of the day. I'm sure you will. I can almost bet that there will be more puns, knowing me. But yeah, so if Nvidia wants to let me in, there we go, just another one. I'll be happy. I think we could be testing this, but I'm going to wait and see what we do here. This 907.65. Last time we tried to break above 907, that's as far as we went. We're already going to get beak wetter set because Nvidia waits for no woman. And you cannot wait for Nvidia, because if you do, you will get chopped up. I'm just going to take 906s. I think we could get down to 905s, but honestly, I do not need to feel that alive right now. I'm perfectly comfortable with the amount of mildly stress that normal NVIDIA engagement already entails. So there we go. Also, AMD continues to be the president of Bamboozlement Nation. We have that move down here at this 180.40. Shout out to, I think, Sandy Beach saying that they were taking this one long because you would be in the money. I'm pretty sure, depending on where you got in here. I want to see what we do with this 9 EMA because it looks like we're butting our heads. We're knocking on the door of this 181, but we're having a little bit of a hard time getting there. I want to see what we do at 181. 181 was a massive area here earlier. That was my impetus for getting involved in this long, was this continued failure to break above that 181 with the viciousness. Or break below that 181 with the viciousness, right? So then we did, and that was a nice look. Congrats to anybody with that short. But honestly, I think AMD, if you play it right, has been really rewarding both the long side and the short side. I just have not been playing it right. I'm going to be really honest. It had the range. My timing was very bad, and my stop selection was negligible. So there we go. That's all there is to it. All I can do is look at this, be like, nah, Dara, and hopefully learn. NVIDIA trying to pop its head above that 907. If it breaks above that earlier high of 907, like what, 60s, 70s, which it looks like I might want to do, I'm going to be out, but we're going to see what I'm trying to be a little more loosey-goosey in my trades.
Nice.
How are you doing in
We just took out like 75 pennies there at the top, 50 pennies initially, then 75 pennies there on that last little move on META. It's headed up. I think you're right, Dan. So here's what Dan wrote, by the way, for anybody who's interested. We are currently trading at a price that is the price target for a short pattern that occurred around 9:45 a.m. Central, so 10:45 market time. Frequently, I think frequently still see profit takers at this distance from around 18,520, says Dan. Shout out to Dan. Oh my God, Meta. No, you didn't. Oh, killing me, bro. Just popped up way more. That's all right. NQ trading at a price. He goes on to say NQ trading at a price that is a price target for short-term pattern. Okay, I already said that. So yeah, I like it. And then you got to pop off right on the future there. This is the area that we kept talking about on the futures. This is the area where we IB load. I'm making like a noun and a verb here in the implied balance high right at 930. So we came right into that level, and then look, we're trending to the high side here. But let's see if we can continue to print higher highs and higher lows here on the NQ. I've been looking for signals from some of these mega cap names. I'm talking about like the Metas, the Amazons, etc., to kind of indicate, you know, what the NQ may be looking to do at this point. I like this. I like this hammer candle here on Google, but yeah, it's done nothing on the day, so I'm not inclined to get into that. Look, if the market's going to pump up here, recent price action tells us that it's going to be Nvidia typically that leads this market. So keep your eye on Nvidia, and if you want to trade Nvidia in conjunction with the market, maybe a good trade for you guys would be NVDL. It looks like it's breaking above this little trend line that we've drawn now, but it's not printing any newer highs. Right, so it's not like, so what? The trend line is your own concoction. The market may or may not respect that level, but what it will respect is previous price action because that is indicative of buyers and sellers. So let's see if we can get above this 908, man, on a closing basis on Nvidia, especially if we start to curl up on the future. Could be an interesting, you know, mid-afternoon breakout. I don't know. But yeah, good look. I'm sorry about all the wicks. I see everybody complaining about these wicks on META. You can't see the entries and exits because we're getting a lot of dark pool prints for whatever reason the last little bit on Meta. So yeah, anyway, we made a move into the volume weighted average price on Meta. So this could be a VWAP retrace and tank. So keep your eye here on a closing print above VWAP and then look for a possible 5-minute candle to make a new low after the one that we're currently on right now, which has another 3 minutes, I think, closes. So right now, it looks like it's rejecting off the volume weighted average price. Probably better if I show you this chart. Yeah, this shows it a lot better. The VWAP is the white line. We make it up to VWAP, and then lo and behold, we encounter a lot of selling. Not surprised on a day where Meta is decidedly negative. It is down 1.18%. So, you know, not totally surprising that these pops are getting shorted. Right, so we'll have to wait and see if they that ends up holding out. Let's go back into AAPL and see what AAPL is doing. So we were talking about taking that short off the 50. So that would have paid off nicely. But the thing is, we made another higher low. So this trend is obvious here, guys. Now it's going to be about whether we hold and close above the 50. We could see a nice retracement on Apple. We've been talking about this all day, possibly here on AAPL. 170, 185 is where the 200 period is, but I'm less inclined to base it off that level and more inclined to base it off either the whole dollar level or the bottom end of the consolidation range in the pre-market. And that's at 172 and a quarter, 172 and a third, and obviously the whole dollar level is 172, but that's all predicated upon breaking and closing above this 50 period, because we came right into that 50 period and we rejected. And that wasn't a level, that wasn't a price action level that we rejected at prior. Like, I mean, if you were basing it off the crest, it would have to be around right here, 171 and a half. We didn't make it all the way up there. So Apple putting in higher lows could be looking to break the top here. We're gonna have to wait for that on a closing basis to see if it actually ends up happening. The future, Dan, looks like you may get what you want here. Got a big green candle. Let's see if this one can close decidedly above it. Maybe I'll join you on that, Dan. Dan's looking for an entire retracement from where we were at the lows, breaking through the highs. I'd love to see that. I got to tell you the truth. That would make this range day obviously into momentum day, midday like that. So who knows what will happen to Dara.
I mean, honestly, I'm loving, call me McDonald's because this range day has me ba 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 ba. I am honestly so happy. This is my time of day. We didn't have perfect rates, but as you can see here, I am literally tickled pink. I am slightly blushing here with how excited I am by this market. Nvidia, I wrote. I'm literally kicking my legs under the desk in excitement. I'm not even gonna lie. I just outed myself there because no one obviously can see. But I was really happy with this. And honestly, this was, again, to me, this was more of an accomplishment, not because I took profit on it, but because I packed my patience. Sharif is packing his bag for his safari, but I was packing my patience, in NVDA. And so I got involved initially, like I said, my entry points are not always the best. Got involved slightly below 907. I was watching, and I totally agree with Sharif when you said 908 being a decisive level for Nvidia. That was going to be, my line in the sand was going to be a little bit more conservative, as I tend to be with my stops. It was going to be that 907.70. We didn't even pass 907.50. I said, Adara, you have to add a little bit. You got to put a little bit more in the pot here. You got to stir a little bit. So add a little bit at 907.10. Got part out at the 907.50 or 906.50. Sorry, it was a little bit early on this. I'm not even going to lie, but it was because we were really struggling with that 90 EMA area. So I wanted to have, some beak waters ready. Initially, we only got part filled, which I think confirmed my theory at first that this was a very hot level. I know Sharif has also mentioned to me as well, which is something I appreciate, that when you have these partial fills, sometimes it shows you this is a level people want. They're really interested in. So I was like, okay, Derry, you got something going here. Keep chilling out. We took out the rest at 906. So about roughly $1 winner for when everything was said and done. Pretty happy with this. If we keep bouncing off this level, I will keep trading this range, because I honestly feel like I've been neglecting this range. This to me has been the range trade of the day, Nvidia. Although, not to say that was the only opportunity you had. Sean was killing it on this short from 910 earlier. There are other opportunities, but I think Nvidia has been so stubborn. Nvidia is so stubborn. It's like, I don't want to leave this range. So if it's giving you the range, you have to take what the market gives you. In this case, the market gave me this Nvidia range. I'm going to play it. Also, shout out as well to, once again, to Kyle Burdett with that SPY short. We did bounce back up here, but I was pretty happy with this. I took out some at the 523 area, looking to add, because I didn't love the area I got in at 523.13. Could have gotten about 10 more pennies. That's okay. That's okay. We lived with it. We got out the rest at 523. So bouncing back up here is the SPY, but I was happy I was able to get involved in that movement. Nvidia also trying to bounce a little bbit back up into 907, so I have my eye on that. Also, Todd McLean watching in our other stream, asking about Tesla, because I have the chat up for our other stream as well, our mobile stream. So Todd McLean asking about Tesla, which I will cover quickly before passing back to Sharif. Tesla has been on sleep mode. Honestly, I have to say, Todd McLean, it wasn't all day. We did have a nice move down here. Dan Ives noted Tesla bull, lowering his price target by $15 from $315 to $300. And you could tell he was somber because he did not wear a paisley pink shirt when he did the interview with CNBC. He was wearing Pepsi blue. Sharif's favorite color, but definitely not Dan Ives's, I would guess. So we have a couple rejections here of that 178, that bit of the double top there, kind of top and turn around VWAP. Honestly, not much of a look here. Todd McLean, right now we're in the part of the Tesla day where we're kind of stuttering towards the downside. I would be, but we do have slightly higher lows though, which is actually something worth noting. 175.80, 176, 176.30, and then 177. So we do have slightly higher lows. Tesla though definitely not moving with the same kind of vigor as a Meta, but not moving with the same type of range as an Nvidia, which to me makes it really hard to read.
I agree. Yep. Good look there at Dara. Elon, I am leaving tomorrow afternoon, so I will be gone until not next Monday, but the Monday after that. Hey, Papi Zone. All right, bro. I don't know. All right. So his initial question to me was, I had it here. Oh, dang. I think I might have lost it. Okay, we'll have to look after. Sorry about that. Like people often say to analyze the volume and not only the patterns, VWAP and stuff I don't really know of. Like, yeah, that's what we were talking about today on the lesson. So if you were looking to take out that breakout trade, you had one of the two options, right? You could wait for the actual breakout itself, or you could wait for the level to give way, then to come back into the level and take the dip. But on the breakout itself, you should be looking for above average volume that's accompanying the price action break too, right? Because that's kind of how you can confirm that there's a lot of interest in the name, and it's not just the fact that there is a bit of a liquidity vacuum that's helping propel the trade higher. And so that's what I would say to you there. I mean, look for the volume to confirm that there are a lot of eyes and a lot of other participants joining in the trade with you. One easy way to do that is to look, on whatever time frame you're trading. So if you're looking at the daily, if you're looking at the 4 hour, pop up the volume bar, just like we do here, Ram, with our charts, and we have the volume bars on the bottom. And what you can do is guys, chart? What you can do is you can look to see which volume bars are the biggest and do they happen to coincide with the price breakout. And so if it is, then you know that you're breaking out on above average volume. So that's what I would say to you there. Look exactly for that, and then also look for that level of resistance or support if you're taking a long or a short to have been defended or rejected multiple times. So if it's a resistance level, you're looking for multiple rejections at that level. If it's a support level, you're looking for multiple bounces at that level, and the more the merrier, right? The longer that resistance level has been in play, the longer that support level has been in play, the more valid that level becomes. And so those are the two things that you're looking for there, just from a chart perspective. With some other stuff, you can use RSI and MACD to kind of see what the price action and indicator divergence or convergence is. So what you'll be looking for in some cases is for the RSI to make lower highs, but the price to make higher highs, and then you can see they're diverting from each other. That usually indicates that it may the price may start coming back down. Conversely, if the RSI is making higher highs and the price is not making higher highs, then that may be a leading indicator that the price may pump. So you'll have to be looking at that. So those are some just regular easy ways that you can kind of incorporate confirmation into your trading. It's not easy. It takes some practice, obviously, but they're not the most technically complicated ways to do it. So that's what I'd say to you. Give that a shout and let me know how that works out for you. I hope you kill it while I'm gone on vacation. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so maybe when I get back, you can let me know exactly how it went. And I hope that the market absolutely is great while I'm gone. I will not be opening up any charts of any kind while I'm gone. I may have to do one video conference meeting, and that's really it, Adair. I'm gonna be
it's just MIA, you maybe. And all the animals.
Yes, and the people that are coming. I'm not making TikToks, Ram. I'm taking a lot of videos. I'm taking my DSLR, so I won't take any videos on my phone. So my phone will be at the house all day or wherever I'm staying all day, and I'll just take the actual camera. So completely incommunicado, baby.
Yeah, he's just Sharif and the safari animals there. So yeah, shout out to Sharif. We will miss you while you were gone, but I hope you have an amazing trip.
I shall, hopefully, as well.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
it will be Adobe back. I know some people call us Adobe. Obi and I back there. Yeah, people, I mean, because you wouldn't know because you haven't been there, but yeah, people will call it Adobe. And also, one time, literally, Obi did analyze the Adobe chart because he's like, we may as well. People have said it so much. Speaking of Adobe as well, Coin Clock and Tax getting $2 in the money here with their Adobe trade. So you're definitely clocking some coin there. You're making some money. So shout out to you. Also, some people asking about AMD. Oh yeah, so Sharif will be up at the big desk now.
I'm still covering, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So guys, I'm gonna say bye to everybody. I shall see you not next Monday, but the Monday after that. I can't wait to show you guys all the videos and stuff like that I take. Yeah, and I hope you guys kill it while I'm gone. So I'll see you guys at the top.
See you, Sharif. Hope you have a great trip. And we will miss Sharif on the How to Trade show, but he will be learning how to hang out with animals and take cool photos and stuff. So we're very excited for Sharif there. Also, what would be exciting is if AMD and some of these other chip names picked a lane. But here's the thing, AMD has like the clearest. I think someone earlier was asking, what are the support resistance areas in AMD? And this is the type of stuff I'm really fascinated by, so I like to, wax poetic about these for a bit if you don't mind. So look at this bottom here at 181. So I'm gonna start with this 181 because to me this is like the clearest of the levels. We have this 181, we kind of pop up earlier into 183, which has not really been a level since. Then we pop back down, we bounce off this 181 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles on the 5-minute at different moments. So this is a massive area of support here. We do not want to go below 181 at that point on AMD. Look at also these earlier candles closing here on support, closing and opening, saying, hey, this is a level we like. So this level to me was screaming. I tried to take the long. I psyched myself out of it and took about 10 pennies and then it went up about $1, but that's neither here nor there. Then we get into area number 2 that I find interesting, which is going to be that 182 level. Areas like this aren't always going to be the levels that are like, whole dollar levels like 181, 182. In this case with AMD, they happen to be, so it makes it a little bit cleaner. But this 182, what I like is we do have this pseudo topping tail candle here. We have another topping tail candle that I accidentally ended up putting my stop loss on this short. But basically the whole point I'm trying to make here is that 182 was screaming to you a couple times, much like 181 was screaming that it was support. 182 has been screaming resistance. Do not touch me, get away from me, I'm not going any higher. A couple times here we have this resistance, then we continue to fall to the downside. Then this is interesting, around this 1 o'clock area would break below to the downside on the 181, and now we're starting to see it form as resistance. Look at again, we're knocking on the door of that 181, but we're not allowed in, Jerome Powell saying close the door on that 181 level. So to me, and now the new bottom on this range seems to be 180.50 actually. So again, another $0.50 level. So 180.50, 181, and 182 to me are the pretty clear ranges. Sorry for that kind of long-winded explanation, but I hope that helps to anybody interested. Also, I think it was Desi in the chat asking about Meta shorts at 490. So we're not here to give advice, right? But I can definitely tell you what I think is happening on the chart. I don't know if Meta is going to go back to 490. Shout out to Sharif for killing it on that long earlier on this little rounded bottom on Meta. Meta was, at this point, and look, we even switch on the 9 EMA from resistance to support on that curl to the upside. And then we have these 2 5-minute candles having a battle and a half trying to get above VWAP. It's like, no, we don't want to, right? So to me, the resistance might actually be a little bit above that 490. It might be more here at this VWAP area around 488.50. That being said, I think 490 area is also clearly an area of resistance. Earlier, we had this pseudo flat bottom break at this area to the downside earlier in the morning, but I think to me, honestly, this 488 area might be a little bit clearer. We did have that area earlier coming into support right off the open. That's where that candle closes on our opening candle at 9:30. Then we have another candle starting off from there, clearly forming support, now forming resistance. So to me, I think 488 might be a little bit spicier. I don't know if that helps. I hope that helps. But yeah, to me, I think that 490 might be a little bit out of reach right now for META. Any other stocks people want to look at? Hurt Scrambler asking about Nvidia and VWAP. Yeah, I think I think maybe people have different VWAP and different charts. For me, I feel like, at least on my chart, Nvidia has been dancing around VWAP. But I think you're like, a decisive claim of VWAP, I think, would be interesting. Initially, this one was looking a little bullish, and I was even worried while I was in one of my first shorts on this because we were holding that 9 EMA pretty well at 907. But honestly, Nvidia, like, we've been seeing these slightly lower highs to some extent, some higher lows, but mostly at least, you know, if we look at the wider picture, sorry for these wicks there, guys, we've had lower highs. We initially, bless you, we had that 910 area earlier, then 908, then 907, 907 continuing to basically be that high. The highest we could get above 907, and this is when I was involved in this short, we got to like 907.50, then we continue to Kodunk. So I think, honestly, to me, the range in Nvidia kind of continues to be that 905 area to 907, sometimes 907.50. I think if we break above that 908 decisively, that could be an interesting look. But Nvidia is really struggling with it. We've been struggling with it, honestly, since this area here at 12. I added to the short at 908, and I was like, if we break above 909, we're gonna cut it. We didn't even break above 908. Like, I got involved, I think, 907.99, and that was about as high as Nvidia wanted to go. Like, it is so stubborn at 908. It'll hang out there, but it won't go above. So to me, I think the 908 break is gonna be the best case for long for Nvidia. That would be my look. Also, Comp SRX talking about RH. Let's look at RH, because RH was really hot in the morning to the upside. Still up 17%. Shout out to Sean on that short 910.50. You know, I was just talking about Nvidia, and like, unless we break above 908, that's going to be a bit of a move to the downside. So shout out to Sean, killing it on that. Yeah, RH, this is a really nice one. This is this kind of, you know, I guess a bit of a bull flag type move. We break above here. We have a little bit of trouble breaking above that 350 area. We kind of wick into that 354, but not in a closing basis. The spread on this is not like my favorite thing in the world. It is just under $1, but honestly, sorry, about 50 cents. It depends, but yeah, it's definitely, I would even say it might be a little bit more of a spicy spread than something like a Lily. But yeah, this RH is a nice look, a bit rangy as well here too. You have these levels around that 345 area up into 350. So nice look to you, Comp SRX. Hope you are printing. But yeah, TH saying Nvidia, like this market is weak from reduced liquidity. I agree, Adara. Yeah, I mean, it's not really doing much, right? It's just kind of chopping and turning. But shout out to Sean with the $5, now I think like $6 winner on NVDA, which I'm sure he will have lots to say about when we get back to the big kahunas in about 30 seconds. But yeah, we're going to be... We're hanging out we're in the last couple 45 seconds. We'll have a new lesson next week, and you will see Opie and I, so I guess the Adobe reunion tour, coming on next week. Well, Sharif enjoys his time with the Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my. Yeah, Sharif's making sounds on the back there. But yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Hope you guys had a great week. I hope you have all a restful, long weekend. Everyone deserves it. I wish everybody the best with your 3 days off. We'll see you. I'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Sharif's at the big desk.
Welcome back, everybody.